Ahoy, every nerds, and welcome to session 35 of the Sea of Souls live stream D&D campaign, brought to you by the Elder Brain Cast, which is us. We are the Elder Brain. Thanks for hanging out with us and joining us. If you're joining us live on Twitch, awesome. That is the best way to absorb our content. Of course, you can catch it VOD on YouTube, usually posted the day of or shortly after. By awesome Mr. Mike, who gets that right up on the YouTubes there. And you can check out the audio version of it on Podbean as well. If you haven't done so yet, follow us on Twitch. Click that follow button so we can get our follower count up. And then head over to our Linktree, and visit all of our socials and do all the follows and the clicks and the subscribes and all the stuff that everybody tells you to do these days. But that's the best way to absorb all of our content. And don't forget to join our Discord so you can actually hang out with us and we can chat, and you get first exclusives, access to a few things. So that's a good way to join the community as well. That's all I have, but I'm going to throw it over to Devin for an announcement that we're going to pump. So Devin.
Yes, I am the head dungeon master for the third year in a row now for the Heroes for Cystic Fibrosis, or Heroes for CF, which is a yearly charity event that is fairly local to where we are, but currently it is an online activity, so anyone from around the world can take part. Basically, it is a quote-unquote pay-to-win Dungeons & Dragons, but all the money goes to charity, so everybody has a good time. And it's all great. So one of the years we did, it was a competition for each party to see who could make the most money in their dungeon. And by the end of it, and people were buying like magic items, instant resurrections. They were buying disadvantages for other tables. Now, it doesn't quite get this complicated online because of the logistics, but this is the kind of thing. And we're constantly making so much money that the Cystic Fibrosis fundraiser are flabbergasted that we're able to bring in some like record-breaking numbers for them every year we do this, and it just keeps growing, and we may keep getting more and more in for it. So it is once again, it's Heroes for CF. There's a website, there's a Facebook page, Twitter, all that stuff. You can check it out. Several of us will be DMing for it, so if you ever wanted to have the opportunity to play in a game that is DM'd by one of us, this is your chance to do it, and it's all for a good cause.
Awesome. Thanks, Devin. We will throw up the links for that in our Discord, and we'll put a link for the website in the description for our VOD once it gets uploaded to YouTube as well, so that you can have access to that. But you think what do you say? It's May.
It's May 28th is
May
the
28th.
day. It's a Saturday. It's mostly going to be like, I think it runs for as long as the DM wants it to and the players want it to, but it's generally speaking, I think like a 5 to 6 hour game, possibly shorter, possibly longer. It's a lot of fun.
Sweet. So be
It's
sure
all
to
for a
check
good
that out.
cause.
Absolutely, yeah. Something we want to get behind and support. So yeah, join us for that. Keep it on your calendar, and it'll be a lot of fun. That is, I think, all we have for announcements for this week. So with that out of the way, let's weigh anchor, mates.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho the sea of souls. Hey ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
All right, recapping for our session 35 beginning. Last time, after a night of drinking and relaxing and some rather deep conversations, a few of you woke with some new features.
Oh,
we
yeah.
call them. Seemingly tied to your fractured natures. Heading out into town after some brief discussion of what these new physical attributes might be and the cause of them, Torque led you to the Tidewater Temple, which is perched high up on a cliff overlooking the town and the bay beyond. And heading to the temple, Torque was hoping to meet with Tanshue, the former high priestess. And as you arrived, you were met instead by a younger elven woman who had been placed there as Tanshue's replacement by the will of Lord Eddard Vale, who apparently had imprisoned Tanshue for treasonous thoughts and reasons. After a brief discussion there about the possibility of meeting with Tanshue, the priestess said that she would consult with Desfuna and get back to Torque. And so after exiting the temple with the promise of that revelation of Desfuna's will being brought to you, you managed to get a good view of Hightown and the trouble that you had seen there previously, with the blood-soaked streets in front of the cavernous entrance into some sort of cliffside crypt or something of the like. You came up with a plan or potential plan to have your stealthy assassin associate Serena sneak in to get a good look. And so you made your way back down from the temple, heading towards the docks, towards the Brine and Dine and possibly the ship to look for your associate. And gentlemen, that is where we begin tonight's session, as you are on the lift, making your way back down into town and heading north from that area towards the general dockside section of town. What would you like to do?
So,
Well, Flick, I'm always constantly impressed in your ability to name things.
What can I say? What am I naming it today?
Well,
I think he's referring to your
literally
familiar.
2 minutes ago, you gave the name of your familiar.
My
2 minutes ago, game time.
Yes.
A week ago.
Real life.
I've just been so deep in thought after we left the temple that it feels
Yes.
like so much more time has passed.
Page the turn.
Yeah.
That was good. That was epic. Very wonderful.
So,
Kind of sounds like the name of like someone's original Sonic character that's also a librarian.
My Sonic OC. Okay, yeah.
Original character, do not steal.
yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's funny.
Well,
awesome.
Torque, this is kind of your area, your sort of thing. What, well, this day was supposed to be all about you, buddy. Everything we're doing is for you. So what do you want to do today?
I was expecting that I would turn heads when I arrived in this city, although so far the attention that I've received coming here is not the kind that I expected.
Flick, make a bunch of
And-
illusion heads turn towards Torque. Make him feel that.
Are you sure that's what you want?
I don't know what to think of this Eddard Vale, although I feel an obligation to see if there's anything we can do about Tanshue's imprisonment. However, I don't know if there's anything that we can do at this time without more information. So at this point, I'm fully on board with the captain's plan for him and Serena to investigate Hightown on their own and see what they can suss out.
Hopefully, in the time it takes me to do that, you guys can hear back from the temple.
Well, I, for one, am perfectly happy with my side of the plan being go back and get drunk.
It does seem to be your usual go-to.
That is your wheelhouse, man.
If you're good at something, you should be doing it on the regular.
It is like morning, but you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's
A little
fun.
hair.
Somewhere.
A little hair of the dog, you know.
That's you just gotta drink some port.
Some mimosas, maybe.
Yeah, Bloody Mary.
Make a brunch of it.
Or, Jello shots. There's always room for Jello.
So
Hey.
I think for reasons that Donaar might not be familiar with, Torque would want to go with Donaar to talk to Serena because he thinks that having Torque in Donaar's corner would help the proposition.
Sure.
probably. So Craig,
Because we've got a bit more common ground.
it's true. When we left the boat, I'm trying to remember last week. I feel like you said that when we left the boat, Serena left as well.
Serena, yes, she, you have not exactly sure where she went though. She just kind of.
Okay, so it wasn't like she said she was going somewhere.
Nope, she just
We
kind of
have
did
to
her own
find
thing.
her. Okay.
It's a small enough town. Maybe as long as Talon is boozing, he can ask some questions and see if anyone has seen an elf that matches her description.
Well, isn't her whole thing not being seen?
Yeah, kind of blending in a little bit.
Only when she wants to be seen.
It's true.
Which, to be fair, is also a lot of the time in our experience. She sometimes just makes a point of getting our attention. Like, we'll be in the middle of doing something completely unrelated, and she'll be leaning against a wall being like, "You boys need something?"
Well, when you've got a shop trying to make money, even though it wasn't necessarily her shop. I'm still confused on that whole arrangement. All right, well,
Perhaps if we can't find her, then I will accompany you, Captain. I may not be as nimble and able to keep to the shadows as some, but should any danger arise, at least then I would be able to provide some security.
I mean, it doesn't seem like they're trying to keep people out because they're doing something secretive worth killing over. It sounds like they're doing it for safety reasons, so I'm sure if we were to sneak in, it's not like we need to be super stealthy because they've got a bigger problem to deal with, whatever's coming out of that thing in the wall. So,
I mean, yeah, on a scale of ninja to turtle, you're definitely more on the turtle side.
Well done, well done.
I suppose to that point even, we could just wait for the messenger from the temple and then all go. Like all of us.
Yeah,
You
that
are
was kind of my
assuming that the
thinking.
messenger is even going to show up.
Well,
Also, I can't help but feel as though it might be beneficial to gather information on our own, considering our track record so far with getting answers out of people in this town. And I don't think that anyone higher up on the chain is going to be any more forthcoming.
no, and I'm sure whatever that threat is, it ain't going anywhere.
So I say we burn bridges as we get to them. Let's see if Serena's around. See if she wants to go do this gig for us, and go from there.
Sounds good. Tayland,
Okay.
why don't you go hunker down, get a table for us at the bar, and the three of us will go and try to be productive.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Well, as long as Tayland is in his element, perhaps he can keep an ear out, see if he can suss out any rumors about what's happening in Hightown.
That's a good plan, too. Find a drinking buddy. Get real chummy with him.
Oh, yeah.
Get him to spill the beans.
Can do, sir. Can do.
While
Three
we're
men
looking
and a
for
no
Serena,
more.
is there anything that we need from town? Any supplies?
I mean, I could use a good bath.
Supplies.
Any scrolls that you've got your eyes on, Captain?
Yeah. Always. But
There's
You know,
no
I should-
guarantee that these things might be openly sold here, but it might be worth the investigation.
I should get some scrolls.
the bigger
I
issue
forget I
is
can use
cost.
those. Yeah.
Bigger
Yeah,
issue
we
is
need to
cost. I got
start scaring at some-
75.
We need some paying gigs. That's the real issue.
That's a good point. We might want to look at the shops,
Yeah,
look for work, try to find Serena.
Or, take anything that's not nailed down because this place is going to hell anyway,
Donaar's got a kind of side-eye flick at that. Maybe we'll just look for legitimate work as well.
I just keeping the options open, Captain.
Maybe splitting up is in order. Tayland traipses the bars, gathering rumors. Donaar, as captain, can look for work on behalf of our crew. I can ask around and see if anyone has seen anyone matching Serena's description. And Flick, if there is any seedier jobs available, then we might not have the luxury of being too picky. So I would leave that to you.
I'll see what I can scrounge up. I know.
Shady business.
Yeah. I'm all about the back alley deals. Don't you worry.
Discount importing.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll send our captain to, respectable work.
Yes. I don't
Best face forward and all that.
Yeah. I don't anticipate we're going to hear from the temple today. So why don't we aim to meet back at the bar by sundown? Gives us a couple of hours. Suss out some work. Try to find our crew. And then we can reconvene and see what we accomplished with the day. Tayland, I expect to see many empty bottles on your table.
Aye, sir.
Also, information from the local folk.
Aye, sir.
All right.
Beer, tiddly beer, tiddly beer.
All right, so we've got Tayland heading to the tavern.
Sure do.
Donaar, you're
I think Donaar.
anything specific, like a specific shop, or
Or
just
he'll
something?
look for two things. He's
Okay.
going to start looking around town for like an adventurers guild or some kind of maybe I don't want to call it a quest board, but a quest board, a bulletin board. Somebody looking for something to be taken care of, but also an adventurers guild if there happens to be something like that in town.
Sure. Okay.
After that, or failing that, he'll head down to the docks and see if perhaps there's any ship work that's posted on a board down there. Looking for anything that would keep us in the area, but that would give us an amount of coin in return for services.
Okay. And sorry, Flick and Torque, what's your specific plan of action here?
I think Torque is going to go around some taverns and things ahead of Tayland before he whirlwinds in, and just kind of like ask some questions, give sort of a general description of Serena, see if anyone has seen anyone that matches her or that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. And Monsieur Flick?
Gonna keep my eye out for seedy looking characters. See if I can sort of ingratiate myself with them, see if there's any business going on in that sort of neck of the woods, especially if I can. Again, the Red Hand was the organization that freed me, and I don't know if they operate in this town or not. So if I can find any signs of them, that would be awesome.
Okay.
And the other thing is just looking for an easier way to get into Hightown, like if there's a side door or some sort of less guarded entrance, something. Just in case we need to get in there by our own means.
Smart.
Okay. All right. So since Torque is heading to the tavern, so you wanted to make it back to Brine and Dine before Tayland?
I guess the Brine Dine would be a good place to start, but yeah, he'll probably branch out and try a few different places in town.
Okay.
In Low Town, at least, since getting into High Town's not really on the table.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. So as you all sort of split and heading in You're still kind of heading the general direction until you sort of get into Lowtown, and then kind of branch off a little bit, looking here and there. One thing, where is my so Flick, give me a perception check if you would, please.
Sure thing, boss.
Jump in on this
Perception.
here.
Make sure everything's looking good. It is kablam. Middling, 12.
Bob, okay. So you start kind of just looking around at, just as you pass by alleys and stuff, and just kind of looking and getting a general look around. And you have to do a double take. You don't notice this individual at first, until you realize that they're actually trying to be noticed, trying to get your attention. As you look down sort of one side alley, and hidden kind of in the shadows up against a building, there's a very scruffy looking, looks to be a young girl, probably really early teens, dark skin, dark hair that's all kind of matted, and wearing very ragged clothing, but she's got that sort of glint in her eye that you're familiar with, and she just kind of looks at you, and she's just kind of like,
All right, I do a quick survey up and down the street, make sure there's no like guards or anything walking nearby, and it's like, all right, guess I'm going down this alley now. Off I go.
right. As you kind of step into the alley, you can see now that she is just a young child, taller than you still, because
Yeah.
you're a goblin. And she actually kind of squats down a little bit so that she's kind of more at eye level with you. And she just kind of like sits and just looks at you for a second. And she seems to have these really intense eyes that defy her age. Like there's a depth, there's a hardness here to her, which is common for people that would be kind of living on the streets. That there's that extra bit of grit. And she just kind of looks at you, doesn't say anything for a second. She goes, "So, you the good guys or you the bad guys?"
Hey, I'm always a good guy. I'm on your side, lady. What's your beef? What's your problem?
Lady? I know, lady. My name's Millie. I'm a kid.
Sorry,
I'm calling
Mel-
people like me a
Melly?
lady. Millie.
Millie.
Nelly. That's, oh,
All right,
oh,
listen,
Millie.
Millie.
Yeah.
I'm Flick. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I saw that you and your friends there went up to the Swoonus Temple.
You fan of the damp one?
I haven't heard it called that before. I have to remember that one. I like it. The damp one. Dampness. She just kind of like genuinely just kind of sits back and laughs. She's like, and then even that mirth kind of just like as quick as it appeared is just gone again. She's got that hard,
Scowl.
yeah. She's just kind of. What are you up there for? Why you visiting the temple? I don't recognize you either, so you're new here, and you're going.
Yeah.
What's
Did
your
you
business?
Did you not see our awesome ship come into the harbor? We're
I mean, I saw a ship.
yeah, that's us. That's totally us.
Yeah, I know. I just said you guys aren't from here.
Yeah.
Duh.
All right, now we're all caught up. That's how we got here. My buddy, the little guy. You see the little turtle man?
The one who's like 4 of you tall.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he's got friends up in the temple apparently. Except his friend's gone missing.
His friend's gone missing. What's his friend's name?
That's a great question. I know his friend's name is something. Tanshue.
You see her eyes kind of like, just very, very so briefly, just kind of like open at that. It's like,
Row.
you, he's a friend of Tanshue.
Yeah, was that a good reaction or a bad reaction? Or
Give me an insight.
I would
Ooh.
love to know.
Come on, Flick.
14. Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad. It's a kid.
It seemed less of oh no, and almost like a little bit of like an anticipation kind of
Hopeful
like
that I do?
like a hope kind of thing, like a like oh good kind of reaction. And she goes silent for another second, and for a minute she just kind of looks you over and she goes, "I like you.
Hey, I like you too. You're
Pretty honest.
pretty straightforward.
That's weird."
yourself. Hey man, I figure there's no point in dancing around this thing. If we're gonna come to blows, we'll come to blows. But I don't feel like stabbing a little girl in a back alley, so I figured we just talk.
Well, I sure hope you don't feel like that, because one of us would leave there, and it probably wouldn't be you. I got
Ooh.
friends,
Yeah,
And she just
Oh,
kind
I
of goes,
know.
let's whistle, and you hear from like multiple places in the shadows answering whistles, probably about 3 or 4 of them.
Hey fellas, how's it going?
I ain't dumb enough to come walking out here on my own. Like, come on.
I never said you was. I'm just saying. I figured honesty was a good strategy this time.
A good policy, you might say.
Hey, real talk, can I ask you something?
Hit me.
You and your friends there, you got a lot of experience, like, fighting and doing that kind of stuff? You ever rescue anybody?
Yeah, we've rescued tons of people. We rescued each other a couple of times here and there, and our old captain, we rescued him at least twice. Then there's that wizard guy. We kind of sort of rescued him. Kind of got him into trouble too, but it was a little gray area.
Okay, so
there.
yeah, you've done it. Okay,
we've
done it
done
before.
we've done work. We're reliable. Don't you worry.
Well, if you're friends of Tanshue, or at least your friend is friends of Tanshue, then that means we're on the same side. Maybe you could help us.
Is this side the side that's against that doofus Vale? Because I'm already not liking the sound of that cat.
Well, let's just say that there's a lot of people down here in Lowtown that would be more than happy to stick a knife in his back if we ever got the chance. Not that he ever comes down here to mingle with his people that he's supposed to rule and take care of.
I figure about the only thing that he's done for the people in Lowtown is keeping the doors closed. It's actually a good thing these days by the looks of it up there.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about what's going on up there other than they've shut it up?
I mean, I might. I don't trust you that much yet.
I mean, if that's where Tanshue is, and we're aiming to bust Tanshue out, then maybe some information on what's going on around there would help us formulate a plan to go get her.
Well, I think maybe you and your friends could probably help us break out in Tanshue. We happen to know where she is.
So you happen to know where she is? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Lots of things. Tell you what, Flick. I like the name. You and your friends, you meet us on the most southernmost dock after midnight tonight. Well, I guess that's tomorrow morning.
Make sure Talon stays sober enough, but yeah.
That ship has sailed.
We tell you where they're holding Tanshue. It ain't the prisons, I'll tell you that much. And if you're really intent on helping her, you break her out and bring her back to us. And I'm sure that she and the rest will be more than happy to tell you everything that they know, that we know.
All right,
prove
one
that
last.
you're really an ally, and that you're here to help, then we can be good friends too.
That sounds great, kid. Listen, last little bit of, helping me help you kind of thing going on here. You got a way into Hightown that doesn't go through that big door?
Oh, there's lots of ways into Hightown. Not all of them are safe. Well, most of them aren't actually, but
Give me
why do you want to
three.
get up there?
Wait, ain't that where she is?
No.
Well, hell, that's news already.
Nobody's in Hightown. It'd be stupid to go up there.
Nobody's in Hightown now. It's like,
Well, I mean, there's some guards up there, but all the nobles are supposedly locked in their homes, but we ain't seen them in a long time. We've been looking. It's weird.
all right, so if she ain't up there, then where is she's down here somewhere?
I didn't say that.
Huh. All right.
She kind of smirks and gives you a side eye, gotcha.
All right, you be coy. That's fine. So listen, yeah, me and the guys, we'll meet you at your secret southern pier at midnight tonight. Sounds like it's past your bedtime lately, but sure.
All right. You should go now, probably.
Yeah, probably should, huh? I'm just trying to think.
You got stuff to do. We got stuff to do, and if too many of them guards see you, hanging around in the alleys with us, then
listen, I've had my fair share of guards and alleys. Don't you worry. I can make myself scarce.
Sweet. If you ever get tired of those tall guys you're hanging out with, you could come and hang out with us. Probably find lots of fun. I mean, you fit right in here, I think.
Yeah, check this, and I will minor illusion a funny hat on myself.
She just
Possibly a-
genuine
Yeah.
smile, and you just see a couple teeth missing off the side, and she just gums wide open. She's like, yeah, I definitely like you.
Yeah, I got tons of this crap. Don't you worry, kid. I'll catch you up in about 12 hours then.
Yeah. Oh, hey, before you go, just don't leave without this. And she hands you back your pouch.
Ooh.
Cute.
So that's
And
what
if
the
he was all
perception check
evil
was.
hey, if he was all evil and stuff, then no reason for us not to keep this. But we're gonna be friends. Then sign of trust will give it back to you. Show that we can, but we're not. Yeah.
All right. You're all right, kid. I'll see you around.
And she turns and stands, and you can see now where she is against the wall that there's a couple rain pipes and stuff, whatever. And she just grabs a couple of them, just in a couple maybe 3 bounds, just up the side of the wall and up onto a house and skitters off.
To make note of the path, just in case,
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will do a quick double check to make sure everything else is intact.
Everything's there,
Sweet.
minus your pride, perhaps, but
Eh,
or extra pride, depending on how you look at her. I guess I don't know.
she might be my new adopted kid. I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes.
Not a lot of daycares in Tier, apparently.
No, at least not open at the moment.
Well, that was pretty fruitful. I will probably find myself some, day-old bread and spoiled food in a dumpster somewhere, and then make my way back to rendezvous with the rest of them.
All right. Kalen. Oh, we have no Kalen. Kalen's at the tavern.
We will check in on
You're
him
not-
in just a second.
You're not there. You're at the tavern. Cool. I want to get drunk.
He's just really getting into character, you see.
Can I roll to see if I get drunk?
Hey, maybe he'll find something useful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still holding on to that.
like an elf with blue eyes, gray eyes. A little inside there. If you know, you know. If you're watching and you know, you know. Awesome. All right, so Torque, as you head to the taverns to get a couple of descriptions. So there's really only the one kind of tavern in Low Town, the Brine and Dine. Asking around a bit, you know that there's a couple of like really seedier places. There's one in particular that's called Brackish Jack's, which is apparently little more than a like old warehouse with like a couple of crates and stuff, and they sell booze.
Well, it's literally got my name.
Pretty much right out of the carton, like, and there's not really much of an etablishment. It's just.
Well, it's literally got my name written all over it. So my metafictional self will order Torque to go investigate that place.
Sweet. So you have to head in. It's actually fairly close to the walls of a high town, which is interesting. And it doesn't look like the sort of place on the outside that you would expect. It's not like as run down as you would think from the description. It's just kind of crammed in where the merchant area is, and there's a couple of like warehouses, like a block of warehouses, and it's mixed in the midst of that. And as you approach it, you see a couple of individuals walking around, just kind of giving you a bit of a look and kind of watching your path as you walk in. Give me an insight check for this.
An insight check. Certainly. That's a bit low. I rolled an 8.
8. All right. Not exactly sure why they've got eyes on you. Could be for a number of reasons. Because you are a large turtle, specifically because you're a turtle, due to past events, because of the area you're in, so you're not exactly sure. Nobody really makes any comments or actions; they just kind of watch. And as you get closer,
turning heads.
Yeah.
As you get closer to the nondescript warehouse that you were told about, there's literally just like a sign on like torn parchment on the outside with like very poorly scrawled Brackish Jacks on it. And there's just a dude sitting on the ground outside of it, with his hat kind of tipped down. And as you approach, he just kind of looks up. And you can see that he's a very scrawny orc, probably the thinnest, smallest orc that you've ever seen. But he's still got like the big prominent tusks sticking out. And he just kind of looks up and goes, gives a nod, just kind of looks you over once. He goes, gives a nod at the door.
Did you
puts
see?
His head back down.
And never mind. Oh, I was going to ask, did you see an elf go in here recently?
I see lots of elves coming and going. Lots of all kind of folk.
Female elf dressed in black, kind of a perpetually sort of smug expression.
Can't say that I have.
Well, thank you anyway. And then Torque will head on in.
Okay. Once you enter, it becomes very apparent that this tavern, this seedy tavern, is essentially a underground, but not very well hidden, like gambling, smuggler's hole kind of thing, where people come to, talk illegal business. For the
I was
most
kind of
part.
Expecting like rave music to start blaring.
Yeah,
you
see a number. Pretty much everybody in here looks like the type of person that is trying not to be seen or trying not to be heard. Like all the conversations are very like, kind of hushed and it's like intentionally loud and bad music from a one-legged halfling. His one leg kind of like ends in a bit of a stump. And he's sitting up on a crate in the corner, and the loot that he's got only has 3 strings, and he's just like plucking away at it, and like it's really, really bad. He's just like down, 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 boom, breaks another one, spits, down, down, just keeps playing, and it's like it's supposed to be bad and loud, almost like to cover kind of the conversation, to just provide that
Maybe
extra
you guys
noise.
aren't ready for that one, but your kids are gonna love it.
That'd be good. And as soon as you enter, there's like a few heads kind of turn and look at you, and then just instantly go back, like they don't really care. Essentially, you get the impression that they turn to look. You're not a guard. Okay, they don't care. They go back to whatever they're doing. And looking around, you see an eclectic mix of pretty much all sorts of people, all races, all backgrounds. One individual holds eyes with you a little bit longer. She has kind of short cropped brown hair, very prominently freckled face, human woman, dark brown eyes, and she's kind of hunched over, dressed in sort of these brown and red, like tattered leathers, and she just kind of, she's sitting at a table with another individual who's got their back turned to you, and she just kind of looks at you for a second, keeps her eyes on you.
Torque just kind of like looks at her from like the corner of his eye, like still facing forward, and then just kind of like narrows his eyes, and then just like kind of clocks her location as he moves toward the bar in case anything happens.
Going up to the bar, there's a pretty lanky looking human, like got a scruffy beard, and one eye is kind of got this like scar running up half the side of it. A lot of people in this area seem to have marks of combat, war, and given the age of a lot of these individuals, it's not hard for you to guess what the cause was, or when many of these injuries occurred. Most of these individuals seem to be definitely ones that would have been alive then, seem to be people who've been around longer. So
as that realization hits Torque, just like an icy wave just sort of washes over him as he kind of looks around and realizes that he is just sort of like surrounded by regret and shame and a little bit of anger at his younger self, which he tries to conceal as he sort of heads up to the bar and just waits to get the bartender's attention.
So the bar is 3 crates that are kind of just positioned, the most neatly organized crates in the room, those that aren't being used as tables or seats or whatever else. And this guy is just standing between these 3 crates, and there's a couple of lights. And as you walk up, he's just like, "Now, what do you want?"
How many drinks will I need to buy if I am looking for information?
It depends on the kind of information.
We could start with an easy question. I'm looking for someone, and I'm wondering if she's been through here.
What makes you think that somebody coming in this place would want me telling you where they went, where they've been, if they've been here at all? You lawman?
I am very far from that.
Good.
I merely wonder how much your silence is worth and whether I can place a higher bid.
I understand. Why don't we start you off with, we really only got one thing going here, and it's ale. We got lots of it.
Sounds delightful.
Excellent. 1 ale. That'll be 10 gold.
Prices seem a bit inflated, but
Well, you've vindicated to me that you're paying for more than the liquor, so...
Oh, Torque is still getting out. Torque is still getting out the money.
Call it an add-on, if you will.
No haggling to be done here. Yeah, he will put the requested money down on the counter.
He just kind of like hands the bottle over and just kind of slides the money and just pockets it.
As he
All right.
slides it over, he'll give a sort of a description of Serena and whether she's been through here.
Well, I tell you, someone like that would be very hard to miss. Unfortunately, I can't say that I've seen anybody that meets her description. Not today, probably not ever.
Well, just to ensure I get my money's worth in that case, perhaps you can answer another question.
You got a few more, I think, yeah.
Torque just like pushes the ale to one side, like doesn't even touch it, and then
he
just
kind of
leans
looks at it
forward.
and smirks and goes,
I'm somewhat, you might say, out of the loop. This business in Hightown, what exactly is the cause behind its current quarantine?
you see him kind of like, kind of suck his teeth and then goes,
You must definitely be an outsider then. I'm not sure what's going on in Hightown.
I'm not sure what tipped you off.
Well, fair enough. There's lots of stories coming out of what's going on up there. Hard to parse truth from fiction, as it were. Most prevalent theory happens to be that the previous living citizens of Valtier, who are now encased within the crypts, have decided to reclaim the town for themselves, to put it one way.
So you're saying that this is an undead epidemic?
Like I said, that's just one of the theories, but it does seem to be the one carrying the most weight to it. What I do know is that they've been sending a lot of guards up into Hightown. Not as many coming back out as have been sent in. Not that I'm gonna cry over that, but
It sounds as though whatever's happening behind those walls is becoming increasingly difficult to contain.
say that.
Does this Eddard Vale seem like the sort to conceal this sort of information from the public to protect his own image?
he seems visibly like spit right as you mentioned the name. He's just clearly some not hidden hatred there.
Look, I only got a couple of words that I say about Eddard Vale. I don't think I'll utter them at the moment. Eddard Vale has no concern for this city, for his people. Ever since he kicked his grandmother out of office, so to speak, hasn't stepped out of that castle once. Nobody's seen him. Nobody knows what he's up to. We hear his will passed on by his lackeys all the time, but as for himself, he wouldn't dare lower himself from his high throne above all of us peons below to come and cavort with us peasants and lowly people.
I heard he even imprisoned his own aunt.
Yeah, sure did.
Is there more to that story, by any chance?
He kind of looks you over for a second and
I take it you've got quite an invested interest in what's happening here.
I could say the same for you. Unless that
I mean, I live
spit
here,
on-
so somebody's got to look out for the common folk down here. It sure as the hell ain't Lord Eddard Vale, and it sure ain't his lackeys, so we take care of our own down here.
all the more reason that I think you would want to share your plight with a sympathetic ear.
Well,
After all, if the guards aren't going to do anything to help your situation, then
you got that right.
perhaps you need to start looking in other places.
Word is that Tanshue Vale spoke out publicly when her nephew Eddard took over. A lot of accusations about the truth of his grandmother's fate. The Lord Eddard Vale claims that she had fallen ill, was no longer fit to carry out her duties, as it were. Or 2 weeks after that, word was passed on that she had passed away. Seemed to be pretty sudden, if you ask me. Next thing we know, Eddard Vale is changing laws and, putting all kinds of taxes on people. And, I mean, all from a distance, of course, because, like I said, he's never stepped foot down here since. And anybody who spoke out publicly about him, well, at the very least, they were given a fine or even perhaps a bit of a beating in the streets. Those who were a little bit more vocal, well, they've all been imprisoned. Or perhaps worse, who knows? Isant happened to be one of the more vocal. Now, it wouldn't do for the lord of the city having the high priestess of Desfuna speaking out against him. You understand? Not so good for his image, so he conveniently had her arrested on account of treason, so he could put his own lackey in place over there.
So the new priestess is indeed in Eddard Vale's pocket, then?
Hells yeah.
Hells yeah, indeed. This is most troubling.
Word is they've had a fling a time or two, so she will do whatever Lord Vale says. I mean, assure you of that. She is in his pocket.
It doesn't exactly sound like a healthy relationship.
I don't think
Not
he's
that-
capable of such a thing. I like you, friend.
Torque's eyes kind of drift over to the scar on his face. I have one last question for now.
Sure.
How old are you?
A very interesting question. Might I ask why?
This city has seen many years of hardship in one form or another. I just wish to be more familiar with how many of those you may have lived through.
Well, let's just say that I have been here long enough to see the city almost lost, almost destroyed, and built back up from pretty much nothing at all, only to see it fall into the hands of a cretin such as Eddard Vale. We seem to have a rises and falls. Rise, fall again.
Even
More falls than rises lately.
Even the ocean tide has an ebb and a flow. I'm sure that Desfuna's blessings will restore this city once again, as they always have. Torque is going to fish into his belt pouch and put another 5 gold on the table and just say, "Thank you for the ale," and then turn and begin to walk away.
He stops for a second as he reaches out for the gold. He actually kind of like, not forcefully, but like kind of like hold your wrist, like your as your claws down. He's like, "You're a Desfunian."
Yes.
And you ain't from here.
Not originally.
Word of warning then. Eddard Vale, High Priestess Danica, they don't speak for the lady. We know it. The spoon is true, faithful. We know. Sounds like you know it too. Watch your back, friend.
And he takes his hand off and kind of takes the gold and pockets it.
Torque will just kind of like rap on his shell with his knuckles and say, "Rest assured, my back is the most protected part of me.
Fair enough.
And then as he leaves, he's going to look back in the direction of the of where the woman was staring at him, just to see if she's still there.
He's not.
Okay. Possibly concerning, but kind of realizing that this location has maybe run its course, Torque will start making his way towards the exit.
Okay.
Maybe a
as
little
you
bit
step-
lost in thought.
Sure. So as you step outside of Brackish Jack's, the orc is still kind of sitting there, and he just kind of looks up. And as you step out, he kind of gives a head nod, like down the alley, like to his side. And as you look down, you see the woman standing against the wall there. And she just kind of looks over to you, and she just kind of gives like a finger.
Torque will just sort of like sidle over and just be like, I should warn you, if your intention is to rob me, you may want to start with a smaller target and work your way up.
Oh, trust me, Torque. If I wanted to rob you, I would have done it many times over. And the voice, although the appearance looks nothing like her, the voice is clearly Serena's. Might I ask what you were doing in such an establishment as Brax Jack's? And where are the others?
Might I ask why you let me spend 10 gold on a single ale if you were there the whole time?
I'm not one to decide where one spends the money. If you feel like spending that much money on ale, then who am I to stop you? I mean, it is decent ale. I wouldn't say that it's the best, but you know, it's very informative.
On the subject of money, how would you feel about doing some freelance?
Freelance.
I'm not sure how much of
Depends
that...
on- Depends on what exactly you have in mind.
I'm not sure how much of that conversation you overheard, but I'm sure you've gathered that something unusual is happening in Hightown, possibly involving the same undead that we fought before, ones that were created by Triskades.
I have indeed been gathering lots of information around town. Some very interesting theories and very disturbing ones too.
Our captain has a means of getting into Hightown, but from what I understand, the spell he intends to use can only bring one other person with him. We thought that all things considered, you would be the best suited for the job.
Well, if my specific abilities are needed for this particular endeavor, then I won't lie. I have quite a piqued interest in what is happening in Hightown myself. As I said, I've been gathering information. I think there's might be fairly serious. And from the sounds of it, the local authorities are not doing such a good job of containing the situation, which means it might break out of Hightown, whether they want it to or not.
From what I understand, Triskades is a mutual enemy between our crew and your organization. Perhaps it would be beneficial if we were to pool resources once again.
Very well. As this lines up with our mutual interests, count me in.
Let's return to the Brine and Dine. I believe the captain will be awaiting us there.
I'll meet you there. I have one more stop to make.
Of course you do. Thank you for hearing me out.
Please, if you see me walking around town in this garb, do call me Caitlin, not Serena. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I will commit that to memory.
I trust you.
Thank you for hearing us out.
Of course.
And with that, Torque will make his way back to the bar.
Okay. Awesome. Thalen, how many drinks have you had?
Well, how long's it been?
Probably a few hours at this point.
Oh, then at least 30.
Wow. All right.
No. It is morning. I've got all day, and I'm going to take this seriously. Incidentally, Tayland is quite interested to learn about this Vale chap. For reasons. And
Writing an inflammatory song about him.
I mean, yeah, you gotta
good
keep
one to
your
rhyme.
material fresh. Yes, we all wail when we're around Lord Vale. So I'll be drinking a lot, but it'll be like light stuff, and I'll mostly be trying
beer?
to.
Oh.
Well, no. Just not vodka. I
enough.
also want to be using. So the goal is, I can't imagine the time that I'm going into a tavern that it's bustling. Because
It's not, but
morning, right?
But since the Brine and Dine is an inn as well, they do serve meals throughout the day. Like it's not just a night tavern. They have breakfast, they have lunch, they have patrons who are staying there. So there is usually a steady flow of traffic, of diners and people coming in and out of the inn. So
okay,
yeah.
Then I will be starting to gather up a good time, get some people talking, and just try to get people enjoying themselves, and build a rapport so that people want to engage with me and communicate with me and see if I can pick up some information.
All right. So let's this probably fall into. I had a thought in mind for this.
Arousing?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Not straight rules, but how much gold are you willing to put in this? Like, are you going to buy some drinks for people? Are you going to?
I feel like that
sweeten
is
the pot a little bit.
I feel like that is probably the best way to do that.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if this is going to play into that or not, but I would like to use my Unearthly Chorus spell.
Okay.
Which, allows me to have my own a cappella group.
Yes.
And it does allow performance checks with advantage. And I can
I was going to say that'll come into the checks.
And I can beguile creatures who are within who can hear it.
Okay.
So they would make a charisma saving throw, and if they fail, they become friendly to me as long as they can hear the music and for 1 hour afterwards. I can then make deception and persuasion checks against them with advantage.
Okay.
So, however that plays into effect, I would very much like to use that spell.
Okay, sounds good. And then as far as money putting into your efforts, what are you thinking here? So you're talking these are fairly lower to middle class. So if you're looking to do this isn't a week's worth, you're doing about a day's worth, so you're probably looking at anywhere from like 2 to 10 gold.
Yeah, I was actually going to say I like 10 gold seems perfectly reasonable to me.
Okay.
It's a lot, but you know what? I end up not buying most of my drinks. So,
okay.
I have a fair bit of money to spend.
All right. So I will get you to make a performance check with advantage then.
Can do.
You've drawn a decent crowd just by the very effort, right? Midday. People don't usually get midday entertainment. That usually is kind of an evening thing. So the fact that there is some being offered draws a few interested people.
Friends and
you get the sense that like people are looking for a distraction given all that's happening in Tyr as well, right? So there's kind of some eager listeners and people looking to just forget about what's happening for a while.
Come join me in rhyme. 19.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so 19.
Come and lift up your voices in chorus with mine.
So as you enact your spell and kind of weave it into your performance, and you sort of get a feel for the crowd and sort of the songs that will hit that right chord, so to speak, that will kind of gain their interest and get them.
Here's a health to the company. Get the whole
singing
place
along
going.
and it takes you, there's a couple songs you replay where like there's not much interest, and a couple of people have been kind of like, like that's old. But
tough crowd.
As you get a feel for sort of what the state of people's spirits is, you manage to kind of draw them in. And after the performance, you have a couple of individuals in particular who are more than happy to just talk with you as if you were their best friend in the world. They just very, very eager. One is seems to be a fairly well-off merchant sort. Seems to be fairly knowledgeable about trade and the like. The other one is more of a more sort of common folk. Does a little bit of dock work, does a little bit of warehouse, pretty much general labor, kind of wherever there's business, wherever there's work to be had. But they also have, kind of an ear on that sort of thing, and the news that passes in those crowds. So you've got a little bit of the working class, a little bit of the like low middle class, like not quite the upper crust, but in there, and so you get a decent amount of information flowing out of them. Are there any specific questions that you're looking to
There's one thing I've learned
pose
growing up on
towards
the street.
these two people?
It is that the people who are doing the manual labor tend to be ignored a lot and hear an awful lot of stuff. And also merchants tend to, like a merchant coming here seems interesting to me. I'd be curious to know about, so for the merchant, I'd be curious to know what trade is like right now, because if the entire high town is closed off, like how's that? Basically, I'll start by like leading him in, like, hey, how's business with the high town being closed, and how does that affected things, and do you know why that's happening? Is it going to be a problem for a while? Kind of lead there, and then for the commoner, I think I'll kind of mostly be the same thing. It'll be like, have you still been getting a lot of work with ships coming and going? Like, are people kind of avoiding this place now because of what's going on, or people not leaving because no one? And I'm basically trying to. I want to learn and see what the word on the street is. What kind of the merchants, sort of the travelers are aware of this, what kind of their point of view is, and then also if I can figure out maybe when this started and what sort of the public like what's, and then I want to figure out about Vale and what he's been up to, what he's doing, and what sort of the proclamation about this whole thing is.
Right. So, basic lowdown that you get as you kind of chat with these two individuals, and it's interesting too because as one will give information, they'll kind of not contradict each other, but almost kind of check each other and like, well, that's not what I heard, and then other stories they'll actually corroborate, and they'll actually like, that's true, and so you manage to, between their kind of not bickering, like it's just more like they're kind of checking back and forth and relaying the information to you, with the help of your spell and your performing, you with the gold spent into it, you manage to get what you are fairly certain is a pretty accurate telling of the events and what is actually going on. So as best as you can gather, it's been about 2 or 3 months since Edward Vale officially stepped in. He had been sort of ruling for about half a year previous to that, when he had indicated that his grandmother had fallen ill, and he was, graciously stepping in to help her with the running of the town. And then 2 months ago, the word came down. Again, there was nobody had seen her in that time. Word came down that she had passed away, thus making Edward Vale the official ruler and lord of Vale, or of Tyr, sorry. And at that point, he renamed the town to Valtyr. So it had been Tyr for the entirety of its history for several hundred years, and no one's really sure why he changed the name, but it was adamant. He ordered all businesses, any ships anything that had the name Tyr on it had to have Val Tyr. Now it was the new official name
Any
of the
songs
town.
that reference it?
Sorry?
What about songs that reference it?
If they were sung, like anything.
They're
anything,
sung here, they have to be Valtyr?
Yes. Anything referring to Tyr now had to be
Fascinating.
Valtyr. And
It's like a Prince situation?
It's really going to throw off the pentameter.
yeah. People are not really sure why. That's one thing you get, is that nobody really seems to understand where this has come from. The only possible theory is that he wanted to kind of establish his dominance as, Lord Vale. So Vale Tyr or Volatier. So there's it's one possible thought that people have, like, well, he wants to, make it his own. It's Vale's Tyr. Now it's his. But that's more just like well, I heard, well, maybe, it's not, there's no actual weight to that from what you can get.
Speculation.
I feel like naming an entire city is a bit of a process to do for your ego.
Yeah. I mean, when you're Lord in this situation, it's pretty much you do whatever you want, right? And that seems to be the way of things, that, he's imposed stricter curfews and, taxes and limits on who can trade what, and drew a much finer line a much more distinct line between the upper crust and the low crust, like High Town and Low Town. He's had the wall built between the two of them. Like before, there was a bit of a separation because of the plateau, but he specifically had the wall built to keep specific people from Low Town were barred entry from High Town, regardless of whether it was closed off or not. So you could only enter High Town if you had specific business, if you didn't live there. And so he seemed to be doing a lot to really divide the town into the nobles, the High Town folk, and everybody else. And it's kind of just been going basically downhill from there. There has been work, but it's becoming less and less steady. There hasn't been much trade at all because there's no ships coming anymore, which they aren't exactly sure why. They have rumors. There's like something about a black tide, or something happened in the Sea of Souls. And then more people have more information about, oh yeah, there's a ghost ship, or there's undead on the seas. And then that's corroborated with, well, there's undead on the seas and there's undead up in the crypts as well. And so you do get the sense that although there's no official story out of Hightown, people are pretty much certain that it definitely has something to do with the crypts, which is where all of the citizens, everybody's buried there. So until recently, even like if you were from Lowtown, you were buried in the crypts. But then once it got shut off, it was for Hightown only. It was for nobles only. And the Lowtowners were basically told to bury their dead at sea. That was the order they're given, that they weren't given any land anymore. They weren't given anywhere in town to bury the dead. They were to be given a ship them out to sea kind of burial. So there's even a division there. And the merchant, you get the sense that he is not, at least he's not anymore, he's not as wealthy as he appears. That his money is running dry, and he's doing as much as he can to try and hide that, because trade is down, even traffic in the city is down. So his opportunity to be able to sell to people has been very limited. And since all the nobles are now have disappeared, essentially, like stuck in their homes, there's nobody buying any of his goods because he, had more expensive goods. So he's had to cut prices on a lot of things, sell, at a loss. So everything's really bleak, essentially. And that's pretty much the gist that you get.
Okay. Pretty good amount of information.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, you spent gold, you won them over.
Yeah. And of
cast a
course,
spell on them and suck them in. So
I now have some friends.
Yep.
My friends.
Maybe they could be new crewmates.
Oh man, Now we really need to get some money to pay all these people.
It's true.
So everybody's meeting back where I am, right?
Yeah, at sundown.
That was the plan, yeah.
Alrighty.
All right.
So definitely going to be well into the sauce by then.
Awesome. Mr. Donaar, Capitan.
That's me.
So you're looking for some sort of adventure guild or like a jobs posting
Yep.
board, that kind of thing.
So Donaar is also going to keep his eye out for a shop that sells hats, and he's going to pick himself up a tricorn.
Okay. So for that, you would want to visit, I believe it is, I have this down here somewhere. Look at my notes here. Yes, the Teardrop Mercantile. So it's sort of the general goods store. And there's that main street that kind of came from the docks that led right up to Hightown. And off of that main street, you do find a number of establishments. There is a sort of central, it's not quite a square, like it's not big, but there is a spot in the road there that's got like a postings board. And it would be where, you know, the latest decrees of Lord Vale would be posted, that sort of thing, so that everybody kind of had that information. So you see it kind of a little bit further down the road, and as you onto that main street, you can see the general store, just kind of there, big corner. Nothing really standout about it. It's basically what you'd expect from a store that sells clothing and all of your sort of common goods, food, etc. And you're looking for a tricorn hat specifically?
A tricorn hat, something in a brown leather that matches my spell sash, as close as I can.
Okie doke.
Got to accessorize properly here.
What sort of quality of hat are you looking for? You're looking for something like super sturdy and like, you know, highfalutin, or are you looking for like, you know, like a weathered Jack Sparrow kind of hat? Like what's...
Certainly something that looks like it will be able to withstand time on the seas. So it doesn't have to be fancy, but something that looks durable.
Okay,
Real
so that's
leather.
probably more on the long lines of definitely something outfitted for like traveling.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at so for full outfit would be 2 gold. So you're probably looking about I'd say 10 silver.
10 silver, okay.
Which is 1 gold, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I will pay the 1 gold and get my tricorn hat.
Okay. And it's a nice hat. It's not like a admiral's fancy hat. It is just a nice, sturdy. The leather has definitely been treated so that it's meant to be worn, you know, meant to be waterproof to a certain extent, or water repellent. And it's a little bit stiff. You can tell it's kind of been there for a while, so you have to like break it a little bit, and it takes a little bit of slicing to kind of, you know, fit it on your head spikes. But
Yep.
You got a hat.
Very good.
You are now a distinguished Dragonborn wizard, Captain.
Now I just need stars on my hat. Then I'll be a real wizard. After that, I'll go to the boards, the job boards to start. See if there's anything there for anything that would be a job that would take a couple, like, that we could be done within a day or two. Not looking for like a big job, but just something local, something that would be somewhat.
Put out some feelers, seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
Okay. There doesn't seem to be a lot. The majority of the board seems to be taken up by decrees from Lord Vale. A number of them are, you know, laying out what the new taxes are that will be taken from specific classes of, like, from merchants, from any trading coming in. So there's like new taxes on exports, new taxes on imports, and it's not hard to see that the intent of all these taxes is just to give Vale more money. He's basically taking a higher cut, and it's all done in the name of protecting
Valtier from, new and dangerous threats that he's not at liberty to discuss, but trust me, they're there, that kind of thing. And there's also a decree about the closing of Hightown, that nobody's allowed in or out, that Hightown business is to remain Hightown business. Lowtowners, regardless of whether they were previously allowed into Hightown or not, are now forbidden. And the penalty of trying to enter Hightown is death.
Really?
So that you notice because you're trying to get in Hightown. So anybody caught trying to enter Hightown, as it is closed down, will be put to death. It's not even a trial. It's just that is a crime punishable by death, apparently. There are 2 job postings that would catch your attention, I would say. One is a salvage job. So since you guys have a salvage ship, there is a wreck that has washed up just south of Valtier. So there's a little bit of a cove that's kind of the shallows. So in this area here, so like here's the harbor, it'd be like out and around. So there's this area of shallows and like rocks and stuff here where I guess a ship, move this way, where a ship has recently wrecked and washed up. And so one of the local warehouse companies, for lack of a better term, they are looking to salvage what is out there so they can, turn a profit and get her, because it's basically if a ship has been, washed up and there's nobody claiming it after a certain amount of time, and it's been a couple of weeks, that it becomes the local laws that it becomes salvageable. But because they don't have a ship to salvage it, they need somebody to do that.
Okay.
And so to inquire about that, you just head to the warehouse district, and they have you can find that information.
All right.
The other one is a little bit more of a personal quest, so to speak. And it appears that several children have gone missing. And the poster is looking for anybody willing to help find her 2 children, anybody who has information, anybody who's even willing to look into it. And there's a definite plea of desperation. And the name posted on it is Madame Hargrave, and said that she can be found, conveniently enough, frequenting the Brine and Dine in the evening hours, where she will be sitting at a table waiting for anybody willing to help. And she will pay as much as she can. There's no posted price, but she's willing to pay what she can.
Okay. All right. Given my knowledge of ports and whatnot, is this the kind of thing where when you see a job you want to take, you take it off the board? Or do I leave it there?
Give me I'll call this a history check, I guess.
Okay. History, trained in history. +7. 16. So 7 on top of that is 23?
Yeah. Standard practice is usually, you kind of take it down, and then you would take it with you, to the person and be like, hey, I saw you need help with this.
All right.
Yeah.
Donaar will grab both.
Okay.
He'll grab both, and I'm assuming by this point it's not too late in the day just yet.
Nope.
So Donaar will head down to the warehouse district then, try to find the guy who posted about the salvage.
Okay. So the name on it indicates that you're looking for a Paul Graves General Shipping is the name.
Okay. So I will head over there.
Okay. Easy enough to find. Most of the warehouses have some sort of label on them or another number indicating who they belong to. And the warehouse is rather decrepit looking. Like it's, this a couple of the windows on the side have been boarded up, and doesn't look like it's been faring too well when it comes to income lately. And there's a big, like, it's brass, but it's like this old metal it kind of looks like it's been salvaged or taken from, it doesn't fit. It's like something that would be like on an old manor, but instead is on this warehouse door. And it's this big brass knocker. And the door is just closed. You don't see anybody around. But the sign above does say Paul Graves, General Goods.
All right, well, Donaar will grab the knocker and give it 3 raps.
Okay. After the first knock, you don't hear anybody.
You said the warehouse is pretty decrepit. Is there any, holes in the wall or windows that are broken in that I could look through?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Okay.
If you want to take a look around.
Oh, yeah, I'll wait a minute, but given no
Okay.
answer. That's a 1. So my passive is 11.
Okay. Most of what appears to be like what would have been holes or weak spots have been boarded up. And just as you kind of start to go and start to look around, you hear kind of a creak as the door opens. And a very short individual with a kind of ragged hood over the head peeks out and says, "Hi, what you doing?"
Hi. Donaar will hold up the posting.
Yeah, what you want? Oh,
Here to answer
Right,
your posting.
yeah. You got a ship?
Yeah, down at the only ship down at the docks.
Oh, that catches yours.
Yes.
Right, so you're the perfect ship to do a salvage job then, eh?
That's what I was thinking, yes.
Word. All right. Come in.
Okay. Donaar will
And he
follow
just kind
him.
of pulls the door open. And you see a very weathered old man. He's like hunched over and, his cape, he pulls the hood back and it just kind of seems to be this flowing, not cape, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cloak?
Yeah, like a cloak that's all tattered on the bottom. And he looks to be wearing like old saily clothes, but they're worn. Like this is old. And as he opens the door, it even kind of like hits a couple of things on the ground. You look, there's like a pot, and there's a few other like metal scraps and stuff. And the inside of the warehouse is very poorly lit, and there's literally just junk everywhere. All sorts of junk that you can see. You can see ship parts, and you see open crates. There's just a random eclectic assortment of all sorts of things. And he's just like, yeah. So, right. My name's Ketted Palgrave, and I'm the one who put out that post in there. So, you got yourself a salvage ship. You read the notes, so you know that there's a ship that just washed up down in the shallows.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, so if you want to do the salvage job, whatever you bring back, right? Work out a percentage sort of thing, right? So depending on, how efficient you are and sort of the quality of the goods that you're bringing back, we'll do a split, eh? So we'll say a 70-30 split. So I'll take 70% as, the one who has claimed the rights to salvage the ship, and you as the one who does the salvaging and whatnot, you get 30% of what you find.
Before I agree to that,
Like,
I am new to Valtier.
you don't say.
Yeah. Not very familiar with the waters south of here. Is there any danger that I need to be aware of?
Well, yeah, you don't call it the shallows for no reason. That's why a ship washed up there.
Yeah. Is there any dangers from, let's say, monsters, creatures?
Well, sure, there's always, Sahogan and, there's some, you got some rather nasty beasties, some large crabs and stuff I've seen in there, but if rumor has it there's undead that are coming out of the waters too, so you might want to watch out for them. Maybe the previous denizens or the owners of the ship are still haunting it. You never know.
60-40.
What, you're looking for something? 60-40?
60-40. I've got the ship. I got people
You
that
say
can
that you're
handle
new
any
here.
threats.
Right. How much salvage had you done in the past then, eh? What sort of experience you got? Huh?
We've salvaged quite a few wrecks. We've
Yeah?
been part of a wreck.
You've been part of a wreck. They don't exactly instill a lot of confidence in me for hiring if you're telling me that you're good at crashing ships.
Oh, we weren't good at crashing ships. We were taken over by those undead that you talked about. That wasn't a salvage ship, though. That was I guess a merchant vessel.
Interesting.
I mean, the other option is that you could just wait for the next salvage ship to show up in docks. You know, it's a bit of a ghost town down there too.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
With advantage, love it. All right, that dice screwed me.
Specifically for that, being like, you can wait for the next ship.
It's up to you, man. You're clearly living in shambles. Wow, those are terrible rolls. That's a 5 and a 6. What was this? Persuasion?
This was persuasion.
So I'm gonna go with a 7. Please be dumb. I love dumb people. They let Donaar be dumb too.
Look, I tell you what, you're driving a hard bargain. Normally, I wouldn't go for such a split on things as. But you do make a fair point that ain't too many ships coming in lately. It's like yours the only one I've seen in a long time, and it's a good salvage ship from what I can see of it. So
that it
you got
is.
all the rigging, you got the rigging and all the right equipment and everything. So
yep.
All right, 60-40 then.
60-40 my way, right?
No,
Donaar will get a big
60-40, 60 for me, 40 for you. Ah, you cheeky.
Yeah. 60-40. We'll take the 40, you take the 60.
Damn straight.
Donaar will shake his hand.
Oh, you got big, cold hands. By the way, what's with them eyes of yours? Oh, you see?
I certainly.
Obviously you do, but
very well.
Curious. I ain't seen a bloke with eyes like. Well, I ain't seen one with shiny scales like yours either.
I was gonna say, have you ever seen a dragonborn with scales like mine?
Well, I can't say I've seen all that many dragonborn. Totally, to be honest, but right. Well, let's just hope that you're the good luck sort then, eh? Not some sort of curse. Does like a trident sign.
At that, Donaar will. I'm assuming they're still holding hands. Donaar will light.
No,
up
he's let go at this point.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Well, Donaar will light up his scales then. If he's able to, not at full brightness, but like partial brightness, so he's kind of glowing. He has a little aura of,
wow.
Of the glow.
Jeez.
That
Just
answers your question.
Bringing the sun right into a bloke's home, aren't you? I mean, you gotta ask for permission first, but I get it. You're shiny and glowy and right.
Power of the sun in the palm of your hand.
Sounds familiar. I think I heard that one before. It's a novel I read recently about a man not being able to find his way home or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, why don't you hopefully it don't take too long. The sooner you get this, the better. If I will be taking a percentage off if you're taking too long on this too. If you're waiting don't we might wait like a week or anything, right? Like it should be a pretty easy job. So get it done within a day or two. Then when we write his rain, eh?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, my crew doesn't have anything else to do in the next 24 hours, so...
All right, then.
We'll get it done.
What you say your name was, then?
I didn't, actually. My name is Donaar.
Donaar. Good.
1 and 2
All right.
2 A's.
I don't care how it's spelled. I don't need to write it down. Just need to say it. So,
Fair.
Donaar.
Donaar.
All right, well, best of luck to you, then.
Thank you.
Come back and do everything 70-30, just like we agreed, yeah?
60-40.
Aye.
Hey.
Not the only one who's cheeky, are you?
Hey.
All right.
Donaar will leave. Knowing that I gotta go back to the Brine and Dine. If time allows, Donaar will go down to the ship and leave, pass the posting off to Kadana and tell them to start prepping the ship for a salvage run, probably in the morning.
Got it. All right.
Because Donaar doesn't know what the heck Blake has gotten us into, so.
Awesome. So as the four of you prepare to reconnoiter at the Brine and Dine, why don't we go ahead and take a break? And we'll pick up as the four of you are once again together. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
See you soon, y'all.
Hey, Elderbrain Collective. If you've been enjoying our live stream D&D campaign and want to support us, there are many ways you can do just that, and we would be super grateful. Seriously, it'd be awesome. First, of course, make sure you're following us on Twitch. Once we get our 50 followers goal, we can make our stream even better with subscriber perks. Then, be sure to follow our Twitter account. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we post stream VODs as well as additional content coming soon. Of course, you can listen to audio transcripts of our stream on Podbean if that's your preference. Of course, you'll miss out on our handsome faces, but you get our incredible voices, so it's pretty good. You want to hang out with the collective and chat D&D and, well, everything else? Head over to our Discord server. It's open to anyone who wants to join. Finally, we've just launched our Patreon page, which is the optimum and best way to support us. That's redundant. Optimum is best. Each tier gets you additional perks, including exclusive Discord emotes, monthly digital content, behind-the-scenes info and creature stats, and, for the truly faithful, you can even gain power over the PCs in-game, live on stream, and have an impact on what happens next. I think that's pretty awesome. We'd love your support. You can find the links to all of our sites on our link tree. Check out linktr.ee/elderbrain, linktree/elderbrain. We hope to see you joining us soon as a member of the collective. Happy gaming, everyone.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way oh, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Greetings, wary travelers. My name is Mike, and I will be playing the role of Donaar Neurixius, dragonborn wizard on the Sea of Souls. Allow me to get into character and we can learn a little bit more about this pale golden dragon. Being chosen is supposed to be a good thing. Chosen by the gods to serve a purpose. However, it can mean facing a life alone. I was born in our homeland, Drakor, in the east. And though these scales are supposed to be a blessing, I was reviled by so many. I could see their jealousy, could feel their stares. My own people shunned me, and so I left. I still drew stares when I arrived in Stormhaven. It's hard to miss these scales. But the dwarves were far more accepting of me. I learned I could put my magic to good use out on the seas, so I served aboard a ship, adding my arcana to their arsenal. Maybe one day I'll return home. Maybe they will welcome me as Verithan's champion. Or at least, as kin. For now, though, life among the Gungrim is good. I am used to standing out here, used to towering over this good folk. But what they lack in size, they make up for in heart.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I play the goblin Flick Dogslicer, an eldritch knight, fighter. Once upon a time, there was a goblin named Flick. That's me. He was a good egg, but as a recently emancipated man, he didn't necessarily have the finest grasp on the rules of free society, and often ended up on the wrong side of the law. So anyway, I'm in this back alley, minding my own business, rooting through the trash, when this old guy in a blue dress and a big floppy hat with stars and crap all over it comes out of nowhere screaming, "Oh my god, it's a goblin," and starts shooting fire out of his hands at me. So I shanked him. I didn't mean to kill him per se, but, heat of the moment and all that. Now even I knew how this would play out with the guard, so I'm looking for a quick escape. But this old guy didn't even have the courtesy of carrying a coin purse, just this big stupid book. So, yoink, and I beat feet to the pier and sign aboard the first ship that's looking for crew. Long story short, with enough time and patience, even a bozo like me can figure out a little magic from that big old book. I joined a good crew and enjoy my life as a seafaring mercenary, trying to keep ahead of the law and maybe make a coin or two for myself. The end. By Flick.
Greetings, tale seekers and story watchers. I am Devon, medieval enthusiast and D&D veteran since my 11th birthday when I received the 3rd edition starter set. Led to a bit of a collection. I will be playing the part of Tayland Wavesinger, human bard and mariner, master of the weaponized sea shanty. Oh, it'd be alright if the wind was at our sails. Tayland is a man slowly being consumed by his own faults. He drinks far too much, and has quite a ruthless disposition against those he dislikes. But he still tries to do what's right when he can. As for his goals, well, I'll let him tell you. Oh, me name is Tayland Wavesinger, and I quickly tell to you of a man that I am a-hunting across the ocean blue, with power over the sea and sky. Believe me when I say that when I finally find the bastard, it'll be his last day.
In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man. Down to a sunless sea.
Torque is a Tortle barbarian, presumed to be the sole survivor of the Loggerhead tribe. Even by Tortle standards, Torque is a taciturn individual, never deigning to use 5 words where 2 will suffice, and as such has been less than forthcoming in sharing his personal history with his compatriots. What is known of Torque is that he was discovered on a remote island by a passing merchant vessel, having apparently been marooned there for some years in the wake of a shipwreck which destroyed the rest of his tribe. It is for this reason that Torque holds a special reverence for Desfuna, goddess of the ocean, whom he believes spared his life in the ocean storm that decimated his kin. Having spent the better part of a decade in near total isolation, Torque is unfamiliar with the ways of the modern world, and his social skills are somewhat lacking. It is perhaps for this reason that he has chosen to align himself with allies who are blessed in the gift of gab, as he continues on his pilgrimage, the destination of which is unknown even to himself. Hi everyone, my name is Jack, and I am not a professional voice actor or performer by any means. However, I do have a serious passion for tabletop RPGs, and I hope that you enjoy this upcoming game as much as we're going to enjoy playing it.
And we are back.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, thanks for tuning in, everyone. No, that's it. All right. So we pick up back at the Brine and Dine as you've all returned from your various information and acquisition gathering. And no doubt see as each of you comes in, it's very easy to spot Talon. Just even look for the table with the most empties.
There's just sort of like a sea of bottles that we just have to wade through to get there.
Mm-hmm. Like, in Devin's intro video, basically that. Because into the break where it's like all the empties are just all there on the table.
That's literally what I was thinking of too.
we walk over and the whole way we walk to the table, there's just like the sound of like glass clinking against itself.
On that note, actually, I was going to say, Devin, how free are you being with your money when it comes to drinks? As well, because
biggest, strongest, cheapest drinks.
Okay, so you're going cheap. So you'd say you probably been like 30 in. Is what you're
By
saying?
this point, well, yeah. I mean, I was getting the problem is like for the first while, I'm getting like stuff that's cheap and very like low end, and then after I've gotten the information, I'd start ramping it up a little bit. So
all right,
you got to ease them into it.
So the cheapest you're looking for, then you're just going for straight ale, basically.
Yeah.
Or if you want like cheap wine, which is probably stronger.
Frosty head and amber hue, not much that I wouldn't do for a
So you're
pint
probably
of
at
ale
about
smoking.
probably about 7 gold.
Okie doke.
I'd say I got 7 golds worth in.
Okay.
Which, when you think about it, it's like that's not much, but gold.
No, that's a lot.
That's a lot. So. All right. So you all come in. You see Talon. You'll make your way to the table.
Well, gents, how did we fare?
I successfully found Serena, and she is willing to help us with the plan as we've discussed it.
And little guy, I got a lead on your gal pal. I made a connection, and she's gonna fill us in on the details at midnight at the Southern Docks. It's gonna be totally cliche. It's great.
So we're pulling an all-nighter?
Come on.
Hopefully us splitting up and making plans and promises by ourselves isn't going to put us into any sort of double booking situation.
I was gonna go over to Sasha Station to get up some power.
Well, it's not necessarily pressing for today, but I did get us some work at a salvage. And then Donaar's going to take off his hat and pull out the second flyer of the Madame Hargrave and put it on the table. Apparently this person is missing her 2 children. It says that she hangs out here, so once we reacquaint, I'm going to look for her.
Donaar, that is a wonderful hat.
Thank you. And Donaar's going
It
to put it
does-
back on his head.
The next
It
time
looks-
we're under fire, everyone just take cover under his hat.
I happen to think it looks very professional.
Me too.
It can only block about 3 gallons worth, though. So.
3
you
gallons
get a
of
10-gallon
bullets.
hat?
It's just 2 feet off the top of my head. No.
Or enlarge it,
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a spell slot enlarging the hat.
Sorry, Torque. Priorities have shifted.
Well, I mean, creative problems require creative solutions, is all I will say.
Instead of supporting, Donaar is going to play role of distraction in combat from now on. Enlarge! Oh, man.
Right. Well, yes, I think we've all had a right good, productive day. I, for one, think that this was the best plan we've ever had.
To split up?
Just hope.
And
Assuming
look at all
you
my
guys,
new
like,
friends.
You share all your info.
Yeah, we'll thwap stories.
And then figure out what order we want to tackle our leads in.
All right. So at some point, probably like towards the end of your, each of you kind of relaying what you've heard, you do see an older woman enter the tavern, and she just kind of comes in and she's got like a small knitted hat in her hand that she's just kind of just like ringing a little bit, and she just kind of waves at the barkeep and moves over and sits at a table which you've noticed has been like empty this entire time, even as people are coming and going, almost as if she's kind of got this table almost like de facto reserved, that this is her table, and they've kind of let her have this space, and she just kind of sits down, and the barkeep just brings over a water, and she just kind of sits there, just sips at it, and just kind of looking around a little bit. She's got grayish hair. You can still see some of the black in it, but it's like mostly gray, very disheveled looking, and even despite her age, though, like her eyes are like this very bright blue, and she seems to be looking at everything and just taking everything in. And there's a lot of sorrow there, but there is a bit of a hopefulness and eagerness in her eyes as well. And she just kind of looks and just waits and sips.
Flick.
I think Donaar. I think that's the person. I think that's there.
Hey, Talon, look, another beer.
What? Yes. Get in my face.
Flick, why don't you join me talking with this woman looking for her children?
I'll stay here and keep an eye on the beer sponge in our
Thank
room.
you. I'm assuming that Flick relayed his information about who his sources were, or at least some of the information, that they were kids.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I would laugh hysterically at the fact that you were outsmarted by a child.
If you willingly offered that part or not, I guess is the question.
Selective truth.
It gives her cred. She's even able to pull one over on me. So I'll give credit where credit's due. It's all fair.
Just for note on that, she rolled against your passive perception.
Okie doke.
Beat you by a million, so
Yeah,
I would just say that.
fast little hands, man. What can you?
I mean, you got a passive perception of 14, but she rolled a 21, so
Yeah, not much I can do about that.
sorry.
So Donaar will get up, and assuming Flick will join him, and we'll walk over to the table that Madam
As long as
Harper
this broad doesn't pinch my cheeks and say I'm her missing little boy, then we're fine.
As you like, even just as you start walking in the direction, she just instantly just kind of sits there and goes,
Hi.
"Yeah, hello.
I believe
I can
you
only-
left this ad up on the job board.
Thank you. I've had that up there for weeks, and I've been sitting here every day, and nobody has come. Bless you, thank you. Just the spoon is blessing on you. Please sit.
Donaar will sit down and shuffle in so there's room for Flick. Tell us about your missing kids.
Right. Sorry. To be honest, I'd almost given up hope that anybody was going to come, and usually when there's no outward reward, I don't have
much to give. I'll scrounge up what I can. It's just the gods. I mean, they won't do anything anymore. They don't really seem interested in helping anybody. They always just gave the same answer, you know. I'm sure they're fine. They'll turn up, kids. Call me Elma, though, please.
Elma.
Madam Hargrave, but Elma, yes. Well, to be, they're not. I mean, they're my kids. They're all my kids. I run the Outwater Orphans home. There's been lots of orphaned children over the past few years, a number of years. I lost my own children long time ago, and well, I still had a lot of care in me left to give, so I thought I'd find other children that I could give it to. Two of them, a number of weeks back, they disappeared in the middle of the night, right out of their bunks. None of the other children seemed to have heard or saw anything. They all came for breakfast, and but they didn't. And nobody saw them. Nobody knew anything. I don't even know the lead. I don't even know where to start. It's never happened before. It's not like them to run away.
Nobody heard or saw anything that night.
But I've been able to ascertain. I've asked around, and like I said, the guards have not been very helpful. The other children, they wouldn't lie about this. They're all shook up about it as well. We all miss them and want them home.
Tell you what.
I don't even know how it's. They're just gone.
Well, do me a favor here. My buddy here, real good with faces. Could you describe the two that are missing?
Sure, certainly. Proceeds to give you a description of two young girls. One is age 7, the other one is age 9. And she gives you as much as a description, without going into writing all the details, like what they look like. She does give you their names. So the one is the 9-year-old is Elle, like ELLE. And the 7-year-old's name is Aria.
Donaar's gonna take a look over at Flick, kind of raise an eyebrow.
Any of this sound familiar to you?
While she's been describing them, I'm gonna put like minor illusion, like sketch artist thing going on, right? Like so faces like wider, thinner, nose longer, smaller.
She's just like fully enthralled, but she's like, that's what a magnificent ability you have.
I just imagine he's making an illusion of like the default cylinder in Blender, and as he's getting details, he's like molding it.
And sort of just sculpting it with my hands slightly.
Like pulls a node here and like stretch that node out and like this here.
So it's pretty rough looking, but I got a fair idea. All right, yeah.
No, that's magnificent.
I ain't seen this kid, but we'll see what we can do.
So neither of the girls sound like they are Millie?
No, she would have been older than, right? You said she was like almost like 12.
Yeah, she's like early teens.
Yeah. So.
Are you saying this? You're like saying this?
No,
Donaar to Fleck?
That's me asking above table. That's where I was going with that line of questioning.
Yeah,
okay,
so yeah,
gotcha.
That's kind of what I read. When you gave me the look, and I just give you a note as I'm struggling and trying to like construct the face. So it's pretty evident to you that I haven't seen the kid that she's describing. So,
Elma.
Yes.
How well you run the orphanage, but how well do you know the kids that kind of live on the streets here? Some of the older kids.
I know a few of them. Some of them. We have an interesting relationship here. My door is always open to any children. They're welcome to come have a meal. Just get in from the cold, whatever it is. And so I see a few of them, even those who don't want to stay. I'm not in the habit of forcing, especially when they get to some of the older ages. They tend to want to do their own thing, and there's not much I can do about that. But I know a few of them. Some of them, the regulars that come in every now and then. Some of them grew up in this very orphanage, and once they sort of reached 14, 15, they old enough to work, old enough to sort of look out for themselves, as it were. They've moved on, but.
Flick, what was it you said that little girl's name was that you met today?
Oh, you mean Chuck? Yeah. Chuck doesn't look anything like these kids. But, I'll ask.
No, that's not who I meant.
Oh, you meant Chuck. That's who I met earlier today.
Kind of looks at the two of you back and forth, and be like, I'm not really catching what's...
Donaar's looking right at Flick.
And I'm giving you the person I met today was named Chuck. I know who you're thinking about.
Okay.
Look,
I guess I'm mistaken.
Gentlemen, I may be old, but I'm not senile and have been around long enough to understand wanting to protect people. I don't fault you for obvious diversion, and that's okay. I will not pry. Their business is their own. None of them are... They're not bad. Troublesome, mischievous. There's not evil in their hearts, though. There's no malice. Not in the children, at least. There's always those who take advantage of others and of them, but if you've met some of them, one of them, any of them, I won't go as far as to say you can trust them all, but they are good kids.
Well, let me turn the tables on you. Is there anyone we should be keeping our eyes out for? A reliable contact or a completely shifty one?
Any of the older ones, the adults, closer to adults, who are still in the alleyways and, sort of the runabouts, I would steer clear. Their intentions are not always obvious, but the younger ones still got a bit of that purity, that innocence in them. The young fellow who calls himself Scavi, never did get his real name from him, but that's always what he went by, Scavi. He's a reliable fellow. Millie, got a good heart. Sonora, if you see Sonora, she'll pull a few pranks on you, but usually harmless. You help them, they're more often than not willing to help you in return. Not so many people know the city better than these kids, let me tell you that. When you live on these streets, you get to know every out-of-place cobblestone, every loose brick, every corner and dark alley, the ones to trust, the ones to avoid. I'd say that they know this city better than anyone. Even me, and I've been here a long time.
Yeah, I could say the same about the dump I came from, too. I know every pothole in that rat-infested town. So I get where you're coming from. And I would love to sort of make sure that I've got a good read on her, that she's not trying to stow us in some way here.
Sure. Give me an insight. Go for it.
Kerblam, 21.
She's genuine. She's definitely she's got there's a genuineness to her that hard to fake. Like you just
I'm picturing
she's the actual like kind old lady running the orphanage, not a like mean whatever, but she's actually like she cares. And you can tell
Hollywood has taught me
talking,
anything about ladies who run orphanages, then like is she a Carol Burnett kind, or is she like the
Oh, forget
We wouldn't be
Skyrim. Is she Grelid the kind?
No, yeah, that's right.
We wouldn't be a D&D party if we didn't just instantly distrust every person we met.
It's true, and you guys are pretty good at that. So yeah, it's like everybody. It's like they're kind inside. And on the other hand, somebody's like, "You can trust me," and you're like, "Oh yeah, cool, I can."
Good old naive Donaar.
Yeah, but yeah, she's absolutely 100% genuine, and you can tell like her heart like aches for these kids. She really does have a deep sense of matronage for them.
All right, well, you've given us some names of the local kids. Perhaps that's where we start. As you said, if they know if a cobblestone's been overturned, maybe they would know where these two have wandered off to.
Yep, they might have some leads.
If anybody would know, it's unusual that come to think of it, Skavi hasn't been around in a while. He comes in every now and then, catch a meal. I think he stays away out of pride, perhaps, but I haven't seen him in about 4 or 5 days. He would have a good idea of where they might be, if anybody, and I've been hoping to run into him, but I haven't seen him.
One more question for you. Any of these kids?
Of course.
Any of these kids that have gone missing, Skavi or El and Arya, were they from Hightown?
All low town folk. The nobles have a way of looking after their own, as it were. Any children whose parents get orphaned there will, there's always a aunt or an uncle or a distant cousin or what have you, where they'll be shipped off to, becoming part of another house. Preserve the stock, as they say. Anyway.
Good to know. We'll start looking.
Thank you. I will do what I can to reward you, even just your kindness and the effort, even if you don't find them. I so appreciate you even taking the time. From what I gather, you're not even from here. You're strangers, and thank you. You see little tears, you just go like, sorry.
Well, we're not absolute saints. We are looking for a little work, but we will do our best.
I don't need to know, because the very fact that you are even taking this on, I appreciate it. Whatever your motives. Now that you know there. You may not be saints, but from what I can tell, you're not devils either. So that says a lot.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll find you back here if we got any news.
Yes, you can also find me at the orphanage. It's towards the northern cliffside. Just kind of follow the docks and the water all the way up to the cliff, and you'll see the house there. It's not much, but it's home.
Well, then we'll meet you there when we have news.
Appreciate it.
Donaar will get up and back to the table with Tayland and the
And
empty
I'll sort of hook my arm around yours as we walk back to the table. Let me have a discussion with you, my good captain, about protecting your sources.
As you hook arms with Donaar, do you just start swinging off the ground?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not exactly well trained in this whole interrogation or.
That's why you brought me along.
interviewing.
I understand.
Well, part of it, yeah.
As you all return to the table, so Tayland probably would notice this if you weren't drunk off your face.
30 beers in.
Somehow, at some point, you're not entirely sure, but there's just a fifth person sitting at the table with you. As Serena, in her normal garb, just kind of slid in. She goes, "So, gents, I hear there's
I would like to introduce.
task."
I would like to introduce you all to Caitlin. You may not recognize her, but I.
Nope. She's wearing her own. She's wearing her own garb, as I said. She's actually dressed as herself. Yeah.
Never mind then.
Yeah. So she's
That's
dressed
faster than
as
this.
Serena. Yeah.
You're faster than the speed of darkness.
Oh.
Yeah, he's had.
I hear there's a
many-
task here.
Yeah. That's what we're kind of, at the end of our day, discussing what our next move is going to be. Like
Breach
here.
into Hightown, I hear.
Well, yes, that is an eventual goal for us, for sure. We would like to get a little bit more insight into what on earth is going on up there.
From what I hear, it's not good.
No,
Pretty
from what we've
unsavory.
seen, it's not good.
Yeah, it's messy. Definitely messy up there.
Let's just say that it's at the point now where many of the guards are praying and hoping that they do not get sent in with the next wave.
How pressing is what's happening up there? Like, how many guards left are we talking?
Well, that I wasn't able to get a decent read on, but from all accounts, they're not able to contain it much longer unless the tide is turned, so to speak. So I would say that either if they don't find a way to deal with it, or if we don't deal with it, that it might be in our interests to not be here when those walls break.
Well, unfortunately, we have
Keeps
spent
happening
today,
to us.
Unfortunately, we've spent today getting acquainted with the locals and abandoning them to death at the hands of what we can only assume is the undead.
My friend.
Maybe not what we're looking to do.
I couldn't agree more with the captain on this. I think that we should be doing everything within our power to prevent what happened at Epicort from transpiring again.
That is why I said if they are not able to deal with it, or if we are not. To make
All
haste
right,
out.
so plan of
But I
attack.
agree.
then.
Dealing with it is something to think on, at least.
How long do you figure you'd need to reconnoiter the situation? We talking?
Well, they've already had a peek over the wall, and their posted guards seem to be pretty slim at this point. I'd count less than half a dozen, the
Wow.
most. I could be in and out of there without them ever seeing me. Pretty easily, I think.
So if we go make our meet at midnight and you go do your thing, we can swap stories in the morning, kind of thing.
I thought that myself and Mon Capitan were going to be going on a little outing of sorts.
That was the initial plan when we thought the only way to get in would be some form of teleportation. Are you suggesting that there's maybe a sneaky way to get in?
I mean, I could get in pretty easily. I was just, I was looking forward to you sweeping me off my feet, so to speak.
I knew she took a shine to you, and I'm just gonna start drinking.
He turns and winks at you too. Blink and goes,
All
no,
right.
worry not. I can get in. I have more than one way to get over those walls and back. This is after all what I do.
Awesome.
I'm
I was gonna
very
take
good at it.
I was going to take a lot of juice from D, and we might need that for other purposes.
Put it this way: I managed to slip in beside all of you without you noticing until I was right beside you. So you're all seasoned adventurers. These guards are, well, guards.
Local rubes.
Oh.
I mean, as good as you
It's
could expect.
been my
but
experience that most,
especially considering
guards-
the morale of them right now, they're
Mm.
not hard to sneak past.
most
Yeah.
Must
guards
be-
tend to only pay attention to us directly in front of them.
They must be fairly
Sometimes not even
lax.
then.
If they haven't thrown Talon out yet, then surely they must be shirking their duties.
Hey,
just not enough
everyone,
left of them.
One way to put
everyone
it.
here loves me. At least in the general vicinity of these walls right here.
There's like a radius. The further out you go, the worse your opinion gets.
Everyone right here loves me. It's like-
Yes. Everyone within these four walls between the hours of noon and now really like me.
They really, really like me.
Okay, well then we have a plan of attack. Serena, you head in overnight. Try to get an idea of what exactly is going on. Maybe how many guards are left. We'll meet up with our contact,
Chuck.
Chuck.
Ducky!
Charles.
To try to restore a little order where it's needed.
Order? Order is just
Might I
another word
ask?
for boring.
Might I ask, any of you proficient in cant?
I'm afraid we can't.
Yeah, that's not a... Well,
Like
Would-
proficient in cant?
would Donaar know if like a comprehend languages or a tongues spell would help him with Thieves' Cant?
It's not an official language.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a
So,
cipher,
It
right?
wouldn't. It is because it's not necessarily. It's not a language. It's like it uses words that you already know, but just not in the way you would expect them, combined with hand signals and all sorts of things. So it's just like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's not a
Comprehend
language,
languages
it's
explicitly says it doesn't decode secret messages.
yes, yeah,
There you go. Yep, I should have just read my own
Mhm.
spell.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
there
it would
is,
not
yeah.
help.
Okay.
Pity.
What
Well,
about detect thoughts?
That, on the other hand,
For a
It's
bit
the
of a
five of
literal
us.
translation.
if the five of us do end up spending a significant amount of time together, it might be beneficial for at least one of you to learn it. Very handy for communicating in secret when it's necessary.
Until
that's
then, I'm
my
afraid
other
we-
multi-class option was going rogue, but I did not do that. So
Until then, I'm afraid we may need to rely on you as an interpreter.
Just use a bunch of sailor slang. Oh, wait, no, that won't work.
Won't work in a port city.
Yeah, I just remembered where I am right now.
I'll leave the
More of
four of
a-
you to muse over that as I get to work, as it were. Why waste time?
That's fair.
See you in the morning, gents.
Not if
Okay,
I
when
can
she-
help it.
Taylor, she takes one of your glasses that's still full, and she just downs the whole thing and just puts it back, and she goes, "Thanks," and leaves.
Is anybody else incredibly happy about that? Just me?
Sure.
I'm wondering if there's anything that we should be asking of our actual employees in solving some of these mysteries. Without putting them in harm's way, of course.
You mean outsourcing?
We do have the benefit of a lot of manpower at the moment. Perhaps if we keep the information network running while we handle the more strenuous tasks.
Well, the thought crossed my mind of asking Kadana and them to hit this salvage while we were busy. Do you guys think they could handle that?
Oh, well. I mean, you know.
I don't really like the idea of.
Do you remember the last time we went on a salvage mission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that anything that might involve fighting monsters should. I think that we should be the front. I think we should be the front line of defense on that. I don't think that we should be sending our crewmates.
And the last time they got into a fight, it did not go well for them.
It almost killed all three. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. Something tells me that that might be a challenge that is beyond their.
You have to remember,
rating.
3 of us know how to weave magic, and one of us can literally walk into walls. You know, we're kind of awesome.
It's true.
It's not wrong.
Well, I don't know what time it is, but I imagine we're getting somewhat close. So, Tayland, I think you've had your fill. I think we settle your tab and head down to the ship.
You can make it that time.
Okay.
You converse about this and that and the other thing for a number of hours. And
well, I was actually going to suggest that we go down to the ship and wait there for midnight.
Oh, okay, sure.
You can bring a bottle back to the boat if you'd like, Tayland, but
hooray!
It's been a couple days since we saw the crew. We might as well go and say hello, check in.
I kind of just assume they've been like on shore leave this whole time.
Yeah, they've.
Except Kissick, I guess, because he just lives on the boat now.
Oh yeah, Kissick.
I think that's by his choice.
Yeah, you get the boat. Like, yeah, Kissick is he's just always there. He's just.
I guard the boat for you. I keep it safe.
He's got
Nobody
competition.
come on board.
You know we can bring you actual food, right? You don't need to keep eating the rats. I mean, it's appreciated. We've had much less
Don't eat
rats since
rats.
you've come here. I just thought
wrong
that
with
you
rats?
might.
The rats are food. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I'm worried about your vitamin C intake. Would you like us to bring you back a line?
That's why you eat the liver too, just to make sure, right? Keep it raw. Lots of vitamins and good stuff in there.
I'm not sure what the dietary requirements for a kobold are, but I think it should probably be a little more diverse than just rats.
Different kinds of meat. That's right.
Any vegetables, anything of that sort?
Yeah.
Mm.
Ah.
I have much
Why?
to learn about the culinary requirements of the other species.
Yeah.
He needs fangs.
And he opens his mouth like so. Thanks.
It's for meat. Not for chewing leaves. It's for, stabbing. We are dragons.
Isaac, we might be entertaining some unusual guests in the coming moments. For your safety, I would strongly recommend that you maybe stay below deck for this interaction. If we're in need of help, I will knock twice on the hull. This many.
I have just 3 fingers in each hand he holds up, like.
Or I can break into song and sing that it'll be, I'll knock 3 times. From Sweeney Todd.
I mean, he had to count to 2. We probably shouldn't overcomplicate this. Anyway.
Where'd you say we're meeting these people?
I thought we were meeting at the boat.
I thought we were
South
meeting
dock.
South Docks.
Okay.
Southernmost dock.
I don't know where the boat is right now. It might be at the South Dock.
Man, you're like 4 or 5 berths up. Kind of like in the mid area.
Not too far away.
Hopping
South
at
by
our ship, though,
Southwest.
right?
So you're
Southwest,
like,
southwest.
so this is the South Dock. You guys are like more kind of in the
Okay. But we're
central
stopping.
area, so
We are stopping.
this
at the ship
isn't.
first.
There's more bursts than actually here, but yeah, you guys are up here, and then it's like down here.
Gotcha.
Like the
Okay.
south-
No, this was
basically
actually
the-
this was on our way, basically.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on a second. I just need to grab something. I'm gonna go down into my cabin, open my chest, and pull out a history book. Shove that in my bag, and then come back up. Okay, we're good.
Is the book visible for
Oh,
us?
very obviously.
Tayland, that is an interesting interest.
Oh, history was my second favorite class when I was taking my lessons.
Oh. Not gonna lie, I assumed if it wasn't on a bottle, you couldn't read.
Torque tries not to. Torque
Oh, yeah.
stifles a laugh at that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, you
I'm
glow.
kidding, of course. You're just very drunk. I want to see what I can get by you.
Mike,
Yeah.
inspiration.
Okay.
That was a solid burn, man.
No missing a beat.
Oh, that was good. Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
the yeah, like the oh yeah, that was beauty. Excellent. These are the things I award inspiration for. Screw character development. All right, you guys making your way?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go
Doodly doodly.
The way will be made.
get some kids.
Are you heading down?
away.
Are you heading before midnight? Right at midnight? Waiting until after midnight?
We'll aim to get there at midnight.
Yeah, I think we should get there like a few minutes early, probably. Just
Okay.
I don't know how long they want to stick around. If anyone
Okay.
objects to that.
What I will do is I will again pull out my big book and open up the middle spot where Paige has been tucked away, and all right, kid, you're up. And off she flits to give a paper bird's eye view.
Gotcha. Give you the Coles notes of the area. Are you having it like just kind of do a radius like a
Yeah, find somewhere that can see and just perch, basically.
sure. Okay. So probably about 10 minutes or so after midnight, which give or take, you guys figure out what time midnight is. Flick, you see Millie just kind of come walking out of an alley and just like walking straight up to the dock, and she just kind of, hands in pockets and just kind of stops and looks at the four of you and goes, "So these guys are your friends, right?"
Best
Yep,
buds.
This is the little guy who's buddies with your what's her name again? Tanshue. Yeah,
Yeah. Don't say it too loud, okay?
yeah. With little guy's lady friend is your lady friend too. Eh? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You guys got any way of like notice some of you look like the magic type. Bright scales there, you got that. I can't read them runes, but I recognize what they look like. Can you like block out people listening in, that kind of thing? Or should we just go find somewhere quiet?
Why is it that everybody that I know asks me to do something I can't?
That's
No.
because you don't know any useful spell. I got you.
Yeah.
Being a wizard just puts a lot of expectation on you, I gather.
I just figured with that like fancy scarf and that big hat you got on and your bright scales and everything, that's maybe the kind of guy to do that sort of thing. But hey,
You would get that impression, yes.
it's all right.
To be fair, he's not really dressed like someone who's good at avoiding attention. With the hat now.
So
Right.
you look up the side of the dock there. There's a little dinghy down there, a little rowboat. I think we can all fit in there. We're not gonna go anywhere. We're just gonna go sit in it and
Go.
then
We can go sit in a dinghy. All right.
just so we're out of sight. You know, we're not like standing on the dock and after midnight, being like waiting for the guards to come around, being like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?"
Whatever floats your boat, kid. Let's roll.
Yeah.
She like smiles again. She's like, "I knew I liked you."
Flex,
All right.
great. And I will slap you in the back a little too hard.
Stumble.
So as you all kind of like go down in the dinghy and it's like definitely like rocking a little bit from side view, and she just kind of like leaps down.
Boy.
And she sits
boy.
right on the edge of it, like on the edge, and just kind of sits.
With Torque on the opposite side, we're sort of all sort
Yeah.
It's just very.
Torque at one time.
They're just
three
sort of
on
like
the other.
everyone's like the he sits in the back of the boat and the front just kind of points right up.
Wow! We all have to sit on the other side just to balance it out.
Yeah. She just like laughs a little bit and smiles, like.
So, hey, I told your friend Flick here earlier that just because I look like I'm alone, I'm not actually doesn't actually mean I'm alone, right? So,
Oh yeah,
just
no,
in case
trust
you
me.
try anything like you
I know how this works.
I wouldn't.
She whistles again, and from like a little bit off, you hear a reply whistle. Like,
Hey,
We got
you don't live as long as you have on the streets without friends. You know what I mean? You see, you know what I mean? I know what you mean.
Yeah. You got that urchin look in your eyes too. Refined a little bit though, so you got off, huh?
We all do what we need to continue living in this world.
That's all right. So, anyways, your friend here tells me that you guys are trying to get into Tanshue, trying to meet her.
This is correct.
How you feel about breaking her out?
From what I gather, her
Awesome.
imprisonment there is wrongful.
Get that right.
That too.
That's kind of why we're here.
Jailbreak.
So here's the thing. She's not in the prisons. Okay? Not in Hightown.
She
Took us a while to find her, actually, because we searched everywhere that people usually get, hid away, and pretty obvious that Mr. Eddard doesn't want his auntie being found for whatever reason. So, I mean, we think she's alive. I'm pretty sure she is. I haven't seen her in a while, but you got to go down under the city.
Under the sea.
I'm not sure how much y'all know about here. I ain't calling it that. Vale to your garbage. Here. It's built on top of an old city that was built on top of an old city. The ruins, like way down there. Got
Layers like an onion.
All kinds of sorts, and there's like old temples and like stuff. I ain't never been down there, but some of the older kids that they said, before all this craziness went and everything got locked down, used to go scavenging and so that sort of thing down in the deep tunnels. And there's this like really weird temple down there. And, I don't even know if some weird god that we don't even know who it is. Not any names we all recognize. But what we do know is that Vale he uses a lot of those tunnels down there to move about. He's got his lackeys doing something down there, something weird stuff we don't really know, but that's where she is.
That sounds like
I bet my remaining teeth on it. She's down there.
the kind of job we would be doing, yeah.
Why is it always cultists?
And dungeons.
So, how do
Maybe
we
we'll
access the underground?
Well,
Find dragons, as Tork was about to say.
you got 3 ways, really, that you could go down there. Right? So, first way is going to be, I mean, you could do it. It's just going to be really hard because you got to get up in the high town first. And you got to get down into the old cellars that are beneath some of the abandoned manors. See, all those manors up there, they don't all have noble families in them. Some of them have been sitting empty for a long, long time, but they keep up the outside, the facade, to make it look like, there's more people up there than there really are. And some of them got cellars that go deep, like deep cold cellars, right? So they can keep all their food nice and preserved and all that. And, they got like secret entrances and that sort of thing that go down. So
Is it a wine cellar?
Obviously.
I vote for that one.
Well, you ain't gonna find anything in it. It's all, you're not listening? It's empty. There's nobody in them. Okay? There's abandoned manors. But there's tunnels and stuff that go down and stairways and things, but it might be guarded. Probably the most direct route.
Good.
We were already planning to visit Hightown, so this sounds like 2 birds with 1 stone.
All right. Well, just hear me out on the other 2 ways in first, okay? Because there's one, like I said, it's probably going to be hardest, though, because if Vale's minions are guarding anywhere, that's probably where they're guarding, okay? Because it's like most direct access sort of thing. The other way you could do it, I'm sure your total friend there is pretty good at swimming. How the rest of you all at swimming?
Yeah,
Maybe not the best swimmers, but we can go underwater for a long time.
Oh. Well, see, that's pretty good because
There's
deep caves, like down, just right underneath us, actually, right here. The harbor goes down pretty deep. The pilings for these docks, they actually go down, and then there's like pilings that kind of go in. They don't go straight down and in, then because there's a big drop off that just goes straight down. If you go deep down there, there's like these old caves and stuff with like waterways that go like deep underneath the island. And from what I heard, one of those goes down here where the temple is too, so you can kind of like an underground river that would get you in. So that's option 2. Okay.
The
third way is you go south of the wall, right down near where the deep forest is. Okay, it's a big forest, and there's more caves out that way. They lead down to some deep caverns and tunnels and stuff, and then one of them, there's a big one that's actually got some old like pillars and stuff, like signs of like old ruins and the sort of thing you expect to find in like an old temple. You just follow them, and it takes you like right down to this like old stone bridge that goes over the river too, and like takes you in. So all 3 of them pretty much get you to the same place. You might come in to the ruins in different ways, but they all have the dangers. So it's really up to you. Anyway,
given that we already intend to visit Hightown, perhaps we should enter through there and then use one of the other routes to make our escape.
Yeah, sure. Just make sure that the way you're coming out, right, that if you got Tanshue with you, that she can come that way too. Like, you're good at swimming, that's awesome, but she might not be in the sort of condition to do that. So that's sort of what, if you're really going into rescue, just make sure you got a way out with her, okay?
Right.
It's kind of pointless if she doesn't make it.
That makes perfect sense.
I can trust you guys, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'll vouch for these cats. They're all right. They might be a little rough around the edges, but
okay. I trust you.
Hope not.
We've already agreed to break into an underground dungeon and free the most wanted criminal in the city. All things considered, I think that guarantees that we're not on the side of the law.
Torque, have you
Well-
ever heard about what a sting operation is?
It's not about what you agree to, it's about what you follow through with. Okay, that's where trust is earned. You can agree to all sorts of things, but it's the outcome that actually determines whether or not we're going to trust you or not.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey, while we got
Anyway.
you here, question for you.
Hmm?
We met Alma, the orphanage lady.
Oh, yeah. She's nice.
She says a couple of her kids gone missing. You know anything about that?
Yeah, we heard about it. We've been looking for him, actually. And
signs?
tell you what, somebody goes missing that we can't find. That's some weird stuff right there.
See, that's what I
I've
was
been asking.
figuring.
See, I actually knew both of them. I knew Elle and Arya. A little bit older than them, but I was actually there when they came in, and so we have a vested interest. You know, we've
I was
nobody
kind of hoping
knows
they'd be running
anything.
with you, but
It's
Yeah.
like they literally just like disappeared. You know, like boom, they're gone.
That's never happened before at that orphanage.
What? I mean, kids just like vanishing in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You'd think if it happened before that there'd be a little bit more. You know, holy crap, it's happening again.
Well, Elma wasn't aware, but I wasn't sure if maybe you'd been there longer than Elma had.
No, she started the place.
Oh,
she's
okay.
been running that place for years now.
Fair enough.
how
Nora,
about
are you
this?
not, are you
this
not aware of
cat?
what an orphanage is?
Last Island. Aware.
How about this? This cat Scatty. He's one of yours, right?
Oh, Scavvy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a friend of mine.
He's still around? Because Alma was saying he's been a little scarce recently too.
Come to think of it, it's been a few days actually since I've seen him.
What's he look like? I got descriptions the other two.
He's real like pale looking kid, bright red hair, kind of hard to miss.
And again, I'll be minor illusion sculpting him. And
No, his hair's shorter than that. Like,
yeah, all right, not quite anime hair. Okay, and we'll tap that down right here.
get this, he actually like cuts his throat with a dagger. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to cut it some ways.
I
He
mean,
ain't got no razors or anything, but
the fact you guys have that crap coming out of the top of your heads at all is a little weird to me. But you know, you do you.
yeah, well, you got it out of your ears, so I mean, what's that all about?
All the better to hear you with, my dear.
Holy crap! Did you? She's just like, holy crap! Did your ears just wiggle?
It's a trick he's been working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No,
Well, I'll look for Scavy. I'll ask around. I'm sure he's around somewhere.
I now have a new goal: to put a wig on Torque when he's not looking.
All right. Well,
I think he'll just wear it, just because I'm not going to dignify this.
one more thing, right? If you do rescue Tanshue, don't bring her out into the city, into the open. Okay.
We understand completely.
You find somewhere to hide her, and you come find us, and we'll meet up with her. She got to stay hidden. All right. This none of this works if all of a sudden she's out in the open and we need her. Yeah. I don't even
Makes
want to know.
sense.
I don't even want to know right now where you're gonna plan on putting her. You figure that out, and then once this all happened, then you come find me and you let us know.
Wheels are turning in my head. It's all good.
Okay.
All right, kids. This
So,
has been fruitful.
Yeah. All right. Don't screw it up, eh? And she just like
Well,
stands up and starts to go.
now, just before you be going, listen. appreciate everything you've done for us. And people like you and me, we only survive through the accompaniment of our friends, yeah?
Well, yeah.
I think, let's just say I've been where you are. And sometimes
Well,
we
you
just
grew
need
up
a
here in
little-
Tier?
Not necessarily, but let me do this, okay? Here, look, I got this book.
Fine.
Take the book.
What am I gonna do with that?
Just take it.
For what? Hit somebody over with? I can't read.
I know. Take it and share it with your friends.
She kind of like takes it and looks over at you, Flick, like.
Sometimes all we need is a little bit of education to enrich in our lives.
Flick, she kind of gives you a look that's kind of like, should I? Like, what's this all about?
It's the angle.
I give the international sign for humor him. It's like,
Thanks, I guess. I gotta find somebody who can read this crap. All
hey,
right.
man. Let me tell you
Like,
about figuring out
shove,
big
like
old...
sticks it down like the front of her pants as like best as she can, just like this thing is awkward. Ugh. Pulls the shirt over it.
It may or may not make a slight jingling sound as she does that. And a slight sloshing sound.
Give her booze?
She's like 9.
Well, that's
12.
practically using age. That's
Dang. That's a 24 in perception. Hey, what's this jingling crap about?
Message spell. Just take it home and open it.
Nah. She like takes it back out and like just dumps it on the boat. She's like, I ain't trusting none of that crazy crap. And she just like jumps off the boat onto the dock and runs off.
It was
The urchins are
strangely
just
thoughtful.
as stupid here as they were back in the hometown.
It was
well.
it was
for
a
me.
strangely thoughtful gesture, Talon, if a bit misplaced.
Well, what can I say? I can appreciate their predicament.
You know, this is a side of you that we don't get to see often.
Did I ever
It's
tell
usually
you?
either a drunken stupor or vengeful fury.
Did I ever
This is
tell
a
you
nice middle ground.
why history was my favorite subject?
So that you
Second
can
favorite
learn.
subject.
Because
So
they
you
had
can
nice
learn.
thick books that you carved the
Nice
name out of to hide
thick
your booze
books.
bottles.
Nice thick books. Best one though was geography. Those atlases. Oh man, you can put a whole bottle in there.
All right, so Captain, here's my clever idea. While we're here in the dinghy of silence,
Okay.
so we've got we've got a plausible deniability. We're going off to do our salvage mission. We head up the coast, park Radiant Dawn off the coastline up by the cave entrance she talked about. We clear that way, go in, bring our gal out, drop her on the ship. We're not even close to town.
This could work.
That's not a bad idea. The salvage is south of here, and if that's, she said this, the southern trees, right? The southern forest.
And so while we leave,
there's tunnel entrances by the forest to the south. There is cave, like water caves directly
beneath us.
down from where you
Okay,
are,
Yeah.
and then there's
There's
the Hightown cellars and passages.
I mean, we could set out in the morning, take care of the salvage, pick it up, make landfall, and then move through the forest, leave the boat there,
Yeah,
kill 2 birds with
Our-
1 stone.
that was my
You
thing.
you guys have something with birds.
It's just like, stop killing the boys, will you?
rest assured, it's merely
save
a
the
figure
stones
of
for bigger
speech.
ones.
Yeah, well, it makes You know, it makes some of my friends, meaning the one who's a bird, a little uncomfortable that you guys seem to really enjoy killing them with stones.
I will attempt to be more sensitive to such topics in the future. And so once we have placed Tanshue in care of our extended crew, perhaps doing a bit more poking around in the catacombs would do us some good. Perhaps it would help us to understand what is happening on this island.
Well, we might even need to step in and take on that entrance in Hightown ourselves.
If that is the one that's the most guarded, though,
Well,
we
but
might want to give that one a wide berth.
it also sounds like there might not be many guards left to defend the town for much longer.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, we get a choice between a place with no guards and a place with guards? Even if it's 2 guards?
I mean, I'm not interested in killing guards.
It's not even that. You know guards rotate shifts, right? I mean, if we're down there for too long and those guards come to rotate shifts, we're done.
Yeah, but I mean, you heard Serena. The guards that are left are not exactly guards. I think our biggest threat down there might be Vale. Whoever or whatever he is.
Hopefully, when Serena returns, her reconnaissance will give us some more relevant information that we can use to plan our escapade.
Yeah, I think we gotta wait for her, and then, unless
Definitely
her
not doing it
intel gives us
tonight.
something wildly different, we move forward with Flick's proposal.
And we will kill 2 rats with 1 skewer.
Sure.
Yes, it can be.
A little bit of variety, that's all I'm saying. Boil 2 lobsters with 1 pot. Look, you know.
You're wrapping up this conversation, or as you're kind of figuring all this out, 2 things happen almost simultaneously,
The thing he
2,
said.
two birds die from a single stone.
kind of back to back. The first thing that happens is Donaar.
Uh-huh.
You hear a message spell in your head.
Message or sending? Or would I know the difference?
Probably not.
Sending, yeah, the whatever.
Okay.
It's yeah. You recognize it as soon as the voice starts speaking. You hear Kamari.
Oh, Kamari. Ooh.
Donaar, I hope that you are safe and that you made it away. We are out of the tower. Would like to
Good.
come to you. Can you tell me where you are?
When Donaar responds, is it something that I'm thinking, or is it something that I say out loud?
It's in your head.
It's in my head.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you can speak it verbally if you want to, but you don't have to. It can just be. It's a telepathic message. It's like
right.
communication, right? So yeah.
You are still limited to the 25
I was
words
gonna say,
response
Yes.
as well.
So you have to
I'm
think
limited
25
to
words or say
but,
it. Yeah.
I think Donaar is maybe also a little flustered, so he's gonna do his best. Mari, you're alive.
What?
We are as well. We've sailed.
Tell her
north.
about your fascination with killing birds.
The tier.
Maybe don't mention the bird thing.
There's
read the room.
there's weird undead stuff happening here too. We're trying to sort it out.
Word left.
How many?
2.
You used a lot of adjectives that didn't need to be there.
Mhm.
Yeah, Donar's not great with his words.
Goodbye.
Too good with your words. Yeah. Goodbye.
You pooping is a classic.
Nah, I can't steal jesters.
Does an emoji count as 1 word?
How about please respond, considering how sweaty this response has been already?
Smiling. Colon open bracket.
All right, Donar's last 2 words will be
Miss you.
I think Donaar's last 2 words will just be, "Come north."
It's you.
Hugs, kisses.
So, all right.
You up?
Before you can hear another reply, if one comes at all, kind of on the tail end of you saying this, the night air is pierced by a unearthly shriek that just like echoes out from near Hightown. And just like
good.
The way that the vale, the valley here is shaped, like with the cavern walls and everything, it just like reverberates off and just amplifies this sound that just like comes out. It just like ear piercing, shattering as a boom, boom, bounces off the walls and splits out. Even in the midst of the darkness of night, as your attention is immediately drawn, to the east towards Hightown. Black on black, darker than black on black, a massive shadow just shoots off into the sky, coming up out of Hightown, and just like straight up, and just keeps going up and up and up and up and up.
This may move some things up on our schedule.
And on that, we will end there. It is after 11, and we will pick it up there next session.
That's okay, I have a gun.
I can shoot shadows.
Oh my goodness.
Donaar, you ever been shadow boxing?
A shadow sword.
Do have shadow sword.
We will pick it up there next time, episode 36. Crazy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and watching, and especially joining us live. But however you consume the content, awesome. Just please join the Discord and come hang out with us and do all the follows and likes and the sharing and stuff. And if you're having fun, then please share this with other people, and hope that they can enjoy it as well, and that we can be entertaining for you. But on that, we will say good night. Until next time, take care, everyone. Happy gaming. Bye-bye. Don't kill birds.
2 birds, 1 stone.